We are live tonight on American Zombie. Like to say what's up to everyone. This is the epidemic. Are we living in an epidemic of immaturity? Are we in an epidemic of immaturity? Now, the answer would unequivocally be yes. We are in an epidemic of immaturity. Like Cipolla and Bonhoeffer wrote, it's stupidity on another level, ignorance. But the immaturity we see is everywhere. When you see that two men fighting each other is supposedly the biggest news in the world, and people are still talking about it 30 years later from guys that have hurt other people in the ring. And it's like, it really makes you wonder. Musicians, extremely immature behavior coming from musicians. We saw the thing with Tate. I mean, how immature is that when we see the Tate immaturity? But the big immaturity are these guys here that I'd like to put up. The fact that we have the so-called leader of the free world acting like an immature child, race baiting people, with the vice president is no better. This is like really sad. Now, Biden and Kamala was basically another show, a political theater. The immaturity is ridiculous. You see the face. See, these are the faces of how they really feel. The face of Elon Musk when he realizes people are catching on to just what he is. Zuckerberg, Biden, Tate, Vance. This is an epidemic of immaturity. And they put these people in our face 100% of the time. It's constant. The news, whoever is behind these news channels, because you know it's people behind them, is pushing something that just keeps people at each other's throat. And these people, that's why I say never follow a celebrity, musician, movie actor, sports star. Politicians now are basically, they've always been celebrities. People just never saw it as that. But that is something that is becoming very dangerous for the youth because they create an ignorant crowd that breeds. So we have generations of ignorance, immaturity, and stupidity that come from the people at the top, basically. At the top, rich to where they don't have to worry about stuff. So when I think about the fact that they don't have to worry about food or clothing or anything, they have so much money that they basically have no worries, but they act worse than immature, spoiled, rotten children. This is an epidemic, basically. Maturity, it's poor emotional regulation, right? Anybody can look it up. Outburst. We see that all the time from them. I mean, Tate, I don't know if it was a humiliation ritual, in my opinion, or just the fact that he acted like he could fight when he couldn't. I mean, anybody that looks into the fight game sees that a lot of things are fixed. I'm not saying that a lot of the guys cannot fight, but a lot of them seem to have taken dives. We see the drama, the self-centeredness. The self-centeredness is just ridiculous. Not blaming anybody because we look for cause here. We don't look to blame. We look for the cause of why somebody would follow somebody like Tate or Trump or Biden. Or Musk. When we look at Musk constantly race baiting people with the so-called the genocide of South Africa. When you look at South Africa, it's like, okay, what were your thieving ancestors doing there to begin with? If you look at the people that were there that had a sustainable system of growing their own food, De Beers companies and other invaders made it illegal. Again, illegal. The fictional government. Oh, it's illegal to do that. Well, it doesn't make it right. Divine Hazel, good to see you. Always a pleasure. Yeah, the illegality of certain things. It's ridiculous to say, "Oh, now it's illegal to do that because why? Because people that invaded part of your country said so, and they're coming at you with the wine bottle, the liquor bottle, with massive amounts of immaturity, violence on another scale, religion. So we saw what religion has done. There's no hate like Christian love. I call out where I see it. And there are some good Christians. There's good Muslims, good Judeans, good Hindus, good Buddhists. Within all those groups, you find people that are to the contrary. But when I look at somebody as, I mean, Elon Musk seems to be almost at a point where it's not that he's the first trillionaire. I think like one of the presidents of Indonesia or something like that was actually a trillionaire, like years ago or decades ago. That just the amount of wealth. I don't know if it was Malaysia or something like that, but definitely over there. And then how does somebody get that much wealth? Well, you don't get it honestly. I mean, the fact that other people have to pay taxes, and the so-called president that's in office now boasted about not paying taxes, while Biden, the next monster that was in office, said that he's going to hire so much thousand more IRS agents. I mean, just threatening people. And nobody seems to notice because of the massive amount of immaturity. That guy, good to see you, he says, yeah, MD, we indeed live in so much immaturity. Yeah, man. It's crazy. Jake, what's up, man? Good to see you.
MD, how's it going, man?
Yeah, just another day. Another day on the
Yeah,
plantation.
I was just gonna jump on real quick. I gotta jump off in a little bit. I might be back on later, but I was speaking about people paying tax dollars and like how do people get rich? They definitely don't do it honestly. I was just watching this other conspiracy theory channel. In their opinion, earlier today. And I don't know if you heard about all the Somalians coming into Minnesota. For some reason, they picked Minnesota. For some reason, I don't know why, but a ton of them have been going over there illegally, apparently. And then they've been applying for all these government programs to open up like these like daycares and kids schools and stuff like that, or whatever. But there's no kids in there. And they black out all the windows so you can't see in there. And these buildings are like right next to each other, and they get like these government like money for these vehicles, but the vehicles never move. They're supposedly like for transportation to pick up the kids. Anyway, these buildings are getting anywhere from like $800,000 to $1.6 million per building. And it's like in this like close knit like community, like they never talk to anyone else, and like like Muslims, so they wear like the basically like the burqas or like the the black blankets that cover themselves, so like no one knows like who they are. They don't talk to anyone. This YouTuber was going around exposing this, saying this right here on the Minnesota state website. This building is licensed to watch 74 children. It got $1.6 million in the fiscal year 2024. In fiscal year 2025, it got another like $1.7 million, whatever, like, and they're asking, where are all the children at? There's no children. These vehicles never move. I never see kids come in or go out of here. I live right across the street. I live right here in this neighborhood, and I never see any kids here. So where'd all this money go? Where'd this money go? So like in one day they went around to all these like child care, daycare centers, children's schools, stuff like that. It was the total was $111 million in one day. All these facilities they visited, all right there in the same community. Some of the buildings are right next to each other. And so $111 million was the total of all these places, taxpayers' money. And then the Somalians changed the state of Minnesota flag to look like they're like the Somalian flag. Like, bro, this didn't happen. Like they just had this idea. Like this was, people in government here or people like George Soros who like fund, these things to like disrupt the political systems and things like this. So all of our taxpayer dollars just getting thrown away into illegal immigrants. They're taking that money and they're, putting it in their own pockets. They're sending it back home to their relatives, and stuff like that. Like, it's not going back into the American economy. It's not serving the American economy. There's no schools going there, and no other people's kids are allowed to go there except for like Somalians. But the Somalian kids aren't even there. They're at home. Like, no one's in the daycares. So they're not serving the community at all, So anyway, that's when you pay taxes, man, there's a little place where your money goes. It also goes to like Ukraine, goes to like all these other countries. But meanwhile, we don't have clean drinking water in Flint, Michigan. Or like, we have potholes all over the road. We have homeless veterans. We have homeless people on the streets. We have people who are starving to death. We can't even afford to feed Americans. And we got billionaires, like that screenshot you showed, celebrities and billionaires. That was a perfect screenshot you had of all of them, with just like these frowny faces, and just like, bro, America is so effed up, man. Like,
well, think about this, right? And I'm not saying anything against, that it's not wrong. It's wrong what they're doing. The immigrants that are coming in, that are doing this scam, and I think they got over $1 billion. But what Trump does that we don't see, that again, he race baits. Oh, instead of saying the majority, not even some, the majority of them came over here exploited, he just says, oh, he doesn't like those people. So he knows that the majority of his followers are ignorant, just to the point immaturity, because a lot of them are openly racist. We see the Fuenteses, we see all of these guys. And the governor, I think of, let me look this up. The governor.
That's a good point that you made, MD. Instead of President Trump saying, I don't like people who scam the system, take taxpayers' hard-earned money, and then they scam it from people. Instead of saying it like that, he says those people. How racist is that?
Exactly. He could say, even, the majority of the Somalians. He can even put them out. But when he says all, he knows that these guys are just waiting, man, to jump on anything, because they look at him as their Lord and Savior. Remember, these are the people who grown up worshiping a picture that was said to be Jesus, that's found out to be a criminal from Italy. I think it's like Caesar Borgia or something. That same picture is a portrait. Anybody can look it up. So, hey, I'm not saying nothing against people that want to represent, or is a Christian or whatever. But when they're worshiping a picture that's fake, that's not even the person who they think it is. Now they look at Trump and they put that imagery onto him. I've literally had people come in the chat back when we had the other channel saying that he's their God, G-O-D. And I was like, what the heck? And these were like Mexican guys and stuff like that. Yeah, so it just shows you the epidemic of ignorance and stupidity that's everywhere. But the governor, what a lot of people don't like to talk about with the Somalian immigrants that are definitely doing this thing that they said, stealing much money and all of that. But the governor is caught in a scandal, and he's white. He's white, and he looks just like Trump. So Trump, to get it off of him, his friends, because they're getting money off of that. Don't think that the Somalians are getting all of the money. These government programs, whoever's in office gets some type of kickback. They can shave off of that.
Just like Zelensky, his net worth skyrocketed during the whole war, and there was like memes going around. Hey, I just take my course and learn how to stay at home and make, it was something like ridiculous, like $120 million in a year, like something ridiculous. It's got ridiculous.
And that's the thing. And Zelensky's white, the Somalians are black. I would think Zelensky's Christian or something like that, and these guys are Muslim. So they're, it's nothing about race or religion. It's about what they're doing. These people. I mean, the fact that we don't have certain things, that veterans need something, and they're just blatantly giving money away, and people are cheering it on. So it's like that's the epidemic.
That's the message. And right there, MD, you hit it down on the head, because like you said, Trump is, white, and so they just, all the white people think like, yeah, he's my Lord and Savior, or whatever. Like, how messed up is that? And then like you put a Mexican person in there for all the Latino women, AOC. Oh yeah, yeah, no, I like this one. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
she's doing the same thing. She's scamming money too. And then you got, a black guy over in Chicago. Yeah, I want that black woman that looks like with that short hair cut and everything like that. And then you got all those people. Yeah, and then you got like they just put these people, to race bait everybody.
Yeah, they don't want somebody that's qualified for the position. They want somebody that looks the way they want that person to look.
And it's all about looks. But meanwhile, all politicians do, all they do is help their friends. The rich politicians help their rich elitist friends. That's it. They scam the hardworking taxpayers' dollars. They put it in their own pockets, in their friends' pockets, and they give it away. And no one cares as long as the person who looks the same as me, that's the one I'm going to cheer for. That's the one who's going to fix the things. No, you're wrong.
Exactly. Trump can pick their pockets because he looks like them. When he first got into office, you had people marching with torches, man. I mean, when you look at that, you start to say, holy smokes. And when you look at the choice for, if it's either him or Hillary or him and Kamala and Biden, of course people are going to choose him because that's how horrendous Biden and Kamala are. And I agree. Like, yeah, it's like asking somebody, do you want to be shot or stabbed, in my opinion, when they have to pick a political opponent. And
thank you. I was going to say, okay, yeah, Trump is a better one, like a half a step better. We should be aiming for like 10 steps better than what we had to choose from.
Yeah, it's crazy. Brother Ali says, yeah, the picture of Jesus most people think is actually a priest named Caesar Borgia. Yeah. And this is people are worshiping this picture. And I'm like, hey, if you want to worship maybe a carving or something, and even that could be inaccurate, but why not look for spirituality within? And when they used to worship in this picture, that sitcom Good Times by Norman Lear actually had a good episode where the eldest son was a painter. And he painted a portrait of Jesus, but he painted him as black. So he said, look, why don't you put this up there instead? Because if you look at the area, if you said, okay, somebody comes from the northeastern tip of Africa, and we see what everybody else looks like around that area, what would you think that person would look like? You think he'd look totally different? Or you think he'd look like one of the people from the area due to the climate and stuff, right? So leaving that out, JJ painted the picture, and the mother, like, I guess, the script had her with the picture of Caesar Borgia. And she literally was saying, this is the only picture I know of Jesus, and it's going to stay on the wall. And it was a good episode because it showed the brainwashing that goes on with people that they don't question. They don't question it at all. That guy says,
go ahead.
Yeah, he says the funny thing is that the Anglo supremacists want to claim achievements of Southern and Eastern Europeans when 100 years ago they would have looked down on them. Exactly, man. It's really, really sad. I mean, there was an old joke in Europe that says you don't become white until you come to America. So it's either if you look up the word white, WITE. Because anybody who, a piece of paper is white. Nobody is really white. They're beige. They're like shades of beige. Even with, if you add in
apricot, the Crayola crayon apricot.
Well, and we have debunked the out of Africa theory. We know that humans did not start off. When I come out with the Human Origins book, people are going to be very shocked. It's going to mix people up because people.
Well, you got to come out with that. We've had deep conversations on that, and that is a very, very interesting topic, man. I'm looking forward to that book.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, I was working on it today. I'm excited because people are they're going to be shocked because I'm like, look, we know out of Africa is debunked. We don't come from apes. And when I look into the genome, it's not even that I would say that when they say black people were the first people on earth, I'm looking at evidence and I'm saying, well, the evidence is pointing here. And this is what we'll work on. And I have a feeling it's gonna stir up a lot of things to say, look, I'm not saying anything. I'm presenting evidence. It's kind of like you have a friend and you don't know that he committed a crime and you see the evidence. It can hurt. It can hurt. Like I had a friend who I thought was working a normal employment, and then come to find out, I didn't hear from him for a little while, and I inquired. I said, "Hey, is everything all right with him?" Next thing you know, he was doing some type of credit scam. And it was like, okay, one thing is, all right, you're doing some stuff. I wouldn't even be that mad at it. People are going to do what they're going to do. But the fact that I didn't even know, and I'm like, wow, we're supposed to be friends. Now I understand. I'm glad you didn't tell me. But in a way, it's like, man, it shows me how ignorant I was to what's going on. So when I present the evidence on human origins, it's not like I'm not like being biased toward anything, to say like, look, this is what it is. And if it exposes something, like when we expose people to that, say, oh, well, these were the first people, or somebody else was the first people, or this and that. It's not that like how the friend gets caught being a crook. It's not like I'm trying to expose anybody. I'm saying, look, this is the evidence here that I found, and humans seem to have come from this type of an environment, other life forms, and we can have really, really deep conversations on that, because we see that the whole implication of race. I'm hoping to get people to look at it as type, because there are different types. But when we call somebody a different type, it doesn't have as harsh of a cut as the word race. It's like, oh, that's a biracial kid, or she married a different race, or he married a different race. Now, if we say, well, he married a different type of person, she's different from what his phenotype is. She's a different type. She's lighter, or she's darker. Same thing if the girl marries someone, oh, she married a guy that is different from her. So when you say different from her, or different type of person, if you get pressed, it doesn't have that, like race. It has a way of making it seem forbidden. I mean, we already know they're masters of the English language, of psychology, human psychology. They know how to say stuff in a tone, or in a way that can put somebody in a quick state of mind control, where we don't know. We're like, hey, wait a second, we just got duped. Somebody just said that, oh, they're going to make sure everything's all right, and we believe them. After all of our life, we've seen politicians come in and never help anybody, really, in my opinion. I haven't seen taxes go down, but to make that worse, right? Because that's just
Well,
the first
not
part.
100% true. You've seen taxes go down for the rich. For that.
Well, the thing is, too, when I think about it, it's like, you think about it, it's like, okay, that is something that it hurts, but it doesn't sting until you see them say, well, we're going to give these people over here in Argentina 20 billion. And of course, in my opinion, they're getting cuts off of that. And we're over here, people are in need in America. So to have to pay the taxes like that, and then to have somebody slap you in the face, like, it's like somebody owes you money, and they go and they buy something for somebody else, and you say, wait a minute, you owed me money. I was paying into this thing to make the area better, the country that I live in better, that I was born to. And you told me that if we pay into this, you're going to make sure the roads and the water is drinking, is healthy. And nobody got in trouble for that. The water's still undrinkable. And now you're telling us you're giving money away to somebody else, and you're not helping our stuff. If people really thought about it, right, they would be going off the handle. But the way you make somebody not go off the handle, because usually if that person is sober, he's going to want to go ape crap on somebody. He's not having it. But how do you get somebody, right? And I'm looking at this as like, if I was a scientist advising them, which they have scientists that advise them, you let them get drunk and high. Now he doesn't matter. He's going to take the oppression
And don't get high and poison them through the food system, and then make them fat, so they lower their testosterone. Put plastic in their food to lower their testosterone.
Yeah,
and so they're too fat to fight back.
If they have a cheap woman instead of a woman that's there that can help advise them for counsel, to say, because a woman will see stuff that a man can't see. Like, and I've noticed that with certain girlfriends, they'll notice something about a certain friend. If you have a loyal, a good woman that you never betray, and she's a good woman, because you could still have somebody that you treat good that will end up betraying you. So you got to know who you're treating good. If they're not worth treating good, they're not worth being with, because now you fall back into what they always push. Like, I mean, the movie I loved, Heavy Metal, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And that keeps you in a state of, hey, I can do almost anything I want to you, if I keep you in a state of that. And everybody wants to get high or alter their thing, their consciousness with food, salt, sugar, uh, cannabis, alcohol, drugs, mush, whatever. Plague Doctor, is that you?
Yeah, that's me. I'm
All right.
coming
Hey,
in
we don't
chat.
got no cursing, and if things, we're doing abiding by the rules on
Nah, I
YouTube.
respect
Yeah,
your
so it's
streams.
like kind of,
Yeah,
but
I
Yo,
have a
I want to
platform
say
of my
I want to
own,
say something
man.
real quick.
So
Yo,
I really,
before we get too far away from it, man, your book of
oh yeah, bro.
origins, people's human origins. You
yeah,
I don't understand why people care. Like, oh, who was the first race or type or whatever? Like, to me, I've always thought, like, who cares? I'm
no,
more interested in how did
yeah,
different races
exactly.
develop. You know what I mean? Like,
And this is
one, like like bigger noses and thinner nostrils.
no,
Oh, that's to like
exactly. Well,
warm the cool air, or like small
well,
nose and big nostrils. That's for like
yeah.
for warmer air to go straight in. Like that stuff to me is more interesting. You know
Well,
what I
yeah,
mean?
and see, that's the thing, that when you look at broad noses and big lips, and that is on the face. If you look at it scientifically, it's meant to expel heat off of the body at a much better ratio. That's why an elephant has very big ears in Africa. The blood vessels goes to the ears, it flaps the ears, and it cools the blood down, and it recirculates it through the body and gets cool that way, even with breezes. The
So that's
Indian
cool. I did not know that.
Yeah, so now if you look at the Indian elephant with smaller ears, it doesn't have that intense problem that it would in Africa. So we see that. We see it with noses. If you have a slimmer nose, now your nose is going to keep heat into the face better. Slimmer lips, it's not going to let off heat. A larger nose allows more heat to be let off from the face. Larger lips allow that. Hair, if your hair is curly, or to the point where it's like an afro, it actually prevents the top of your head from getting too hot. If you have straight hair that's flat against the top of the head and the sun beats down on it, your head's going to feel pretty hot. If you have hair that rises above the surface of the skull by a few inches, now it serves as a natural cooling mechanism, a sort of a little bit more of a protection, just the way melanin does as well on the skin. But
So
then
I have
there's
a
also
question for you.
benefits to not having melanin in certain areas,
Yeah.
because your body produces vitamin D, where the person with melanin would need to be in the sun more to collect that vitamin D.
Yeah,
But
and that's the stuff that interests me, man. Like, how did different skin tones develop? How did different facial features develop? How different hairstyles, like how and like when and why? Like
yeah,
that stuff is like really
yeah,
interesting to me.
and
Not, yeah.
yeah, hopefully it'll bring people together more. It'll get them to realize that race is just a social construct pushed by political power, and it's not dismissing the fact that we see big differences when we look at different people. We say, "Holy smoke, this person is like has got a big head, and the eyes are shaped differently." And this person has a smaller head. We see that, or is taller, or has a different build, or a different shaped nose or lips or
You, you
ear.
know, you know what I will say though is that every once in a while, like I'll see a girl and we'll kind of lock eyes when we look like similar, like we have like similar phenotypes, whatever, you know what I mean?
Mhm,
And it's almost like, wow, like we're supposed to be together. And it's almost like a telepathic, almost like message
mhm.
that we almost like realize like we're both attracted to each other, like we're supposed to be together. And it's interesting when you see that in a very diverse place, because people in like let's just say Italy, for example. Well,
Mhm.
if there's a country where it's like all Italians, they all look the same, like, oh, it's just a normal thing, whatever, but then like in America you see all these different phenotypes, and like you're also um your pores, your scent, or whatever, your pheromones also give off.
Yeah,
When a woman's on birth control, it messes up with her pheromones, whatever.
it
But
matters.
a woman knows that which type of man is going to make good children, good
Yes,
genetically
yes.
strong children with a good immune system. And it's
Oh,
almost like
that's
when I
so
lock
great.
eyes with a woman, like I see this new girl just started working at the gym that I go to, and she worked there. And we just like as soon as the first time I saw her, we locked eyes. Like I came around the corner, we locked eyes, and it was almost like, oh, we're both attracted to each other. We both know, hey, we're supposed to be together. Like, hey, if we mate, we're gonna make some good children. In a second, we both kind of locked eyes and stopped for a second, and so anyway, so I'm planning on talking to her, and it's like we both almost telepathically, and she smiled a little bit, like I smiled a little bit, and just that was like it's rare to see that in a very diverse place, or whatever. But I just think it's pretty cool, you know what I mean?
But
Because it also,
check out this study. There's a study, right, with rats, and it says female rats have a strong sense. Now, this study's been out for decades, and it says they can choose a better mate by relying on odor cues, pheromones. And it says that the signal genetic quality and compatibility lead them to prefer males with so-called good genes or healthier offsprings. Now, in humans, right, what I put in the book, where is it? What I put in the book, Nightmare on Sperm Street, was that, like what you were saying with the birth control thing, altering the pheromones and stuff like that. I put in the scientific links with the proof to show how when two people mate that have different immune systems, the child's immune system becomes broader. So in a way, almost doubled, because the parents are differently immune to certain things. But if they're similarly immune, right, it'll create an overlap. So now the child doesn't really get a boost. He can actually get a reduction in immunity and have different problems like allergies and certain things when they grow up, certain type of sensitivities to different foods. So in a way, like you were saying, there's a way that we might be able to tell that with the smells. It would make sense that humans would do it probably just as much as how rats and other mammals can do this. What do we see when dogs and other animals, they're always smelling each other's butt to smell, I guess, what is going on, basically. Because I remember a doctor telling me that years ago. He goes, look, what you eat, what goes into you, and what comes out of you. So that digestive tract, that tract from your mouth going down your esophagus to your stomach, to your small intestines, into the large intestines, the colon, and coming out of you. So that tract, that's something that, I mean, that's life, basically, how you take care of that tract. And within that, you have one that pulls in air. Your nostrils and your mouth, amazingly, can pull in the air to go to your lungs, which what you breathe will go into the vessels and feed your body. So we're feeding off of air, liquid, and physical solid matter. And we forget that air is part of it. Now we're also pulling in from the skin. Now, if we talk about stuff like this and how we live in a culture of massive amounts of immaturity, it allows us to acknowledge the problem so we can grow away from it. We can protect ourselves from falling into it. They don't want people to look at immaturity. They want them to say, hey, so and so is fighting. This politician said this thing about each other. It's so gossip to a point. I'm the only way.
yes,
Yeah, the fact that they can't see it is, one, the Epidemic of Stupidity by Bonhoeffer and Cipolla. Everybody should, you can find it for free on the internet. Law number one is we always underestimate the amount of stupid people they are. So we might think, all right, the building at the airport has maybe 80% stupid people. You're going to find 20% of the people that know what they're doing. And then you realize, nah, it's actually higher. It's like 85, 90. It's always something higher. The second law is that stupidity is independent of any other factor the person has. So at the airport, the pilot could be stupid. So yeah, he can fly the plane. Oh yeah, he's got hundreds of hours of flight time. Safe, one of the safest pilots, but he's an idiot. You try to ask him about something else, straight, you see the laws of stupidity are real.
As far as distracting people too, like you said, man, the other thing that would distract people is like, we're talking about, give them the drugs, the alcohol, the toxic food, and make them fat and lower their testosterone with microplastics and all this. Also distract them with false flag operations. And
Oh, no,
in my opinion, in my opinion, distract them with things, that are planned and things like that.
Yeah, from what people are saying, but
from what people are saying, and in my opinion, and things that I've heard, and not my opinion, and things like that.
Well, yeah, their own thing. But Alexis, thank you, brother, for the support. Alexis says, MD, when animals are born, they automatically know how to walk and speak, yet human babies can't even open their eyes. Why? Now, this, as I've been studying it, it's a clear indication that the organism, the human being in this case, is somehow, it's very vulnerable, but it's in need of extreme help. Like if we didn't get help for, like, you're looking at a year and a half at the least, or 2 years, we wouldn't be able to survive, because we need the mother there, the breast milk, we need the holding. They've done unspeakably cruel tests, I think in Russia, if people can still find it on the internet, that that they didn't have a child, I think wasn't held for like a year, and the child passed away, and they were showing how, we need touch. And I'm like, yeah, that's a really messed up way to try to prove to people, I mean, some of the experiments that you see of how they got what they got now are horrific. I mean, we're here, but it doesn't mean.
MD, the experiments used to show, like the saliva drilled a hole through the cheek of a child's cheek with a little jar underneath it. The experiments used to be able to show on YouTube. Wow.
Yeah, and I'm glad those videos are on YouTube, that people can make commentary on them. But the reason, Alexis, is that humans and other babies that are in that situation seem to be not fully, like, all right, if we're looking at it, we know evolution is not scientific. If somehow it's been pounded in there so much that we just automatically think and get the picture of somehow we started in nature somehow or something, but we know we didn't, but we still go back to thinking that sometimes. It really, from the research I'm doing, and I got to be very careful because it will scare, it's not that it will scare people away that's open thinkers. I would like it to be taken as more serious than evolution, because evolution is just not scientific. And that's the craziest thing, that people are going to say, well, wait a minute, you're saying evolution is not scientific. And it's like, yeah, this is important, because I mean, this has really messed with people's head. But yeah, it would go into saying that humans were somehow, or all life in general, when you look at the signature on life, it seems to have been somehow created. It wouldn't have happened by chance. How that happens, it may be some type of, could be a life force. If we're looking at, it's not going to happen by chance, but okay, now we're going to say, okay, is it happening by something that has a face and is a creator physically with us? Or is it something that doesn't have a face, that it's forces that can put something together? Kind of like, let me see what would be an example, like being able to join something together with tools, like you're taking some chopsticks and you're putting together little pieces of food on a plate. Now, if the chopsticks weren't there and you're just seeing the thing go together, maybe some type of force like that. And I'm being very conservative on this because there are so many evolution zombies out there that, by their behavior of attacking, when I try to talk about the subject, shows me that they're really hurt and they want to know. And a lot of people want to know, where do we come from? Why do we look different? We probably never going to be able to answer where we're going, but at least we can get a little closer to how life is. But yeah, that's what it. The babies can barely open their eyes, and I think it's because we are in, we are manufactured all life. I'll get into it like seriously once the book, because that's what I'm going to be talking about the whole time. Is always about
Whoa,
that.
you said we're manufactured?
Well, it's somehow, even if it's not manufactured in a way where somebody would say, "Oh, it's some type of beings that are physically making somebody." What if it could be something that was manufactured by something we can't see? So, like, in a way, trying to think like forces creating something, like of some type of force crushing on something else to create something else, like maybe a diamond. If a diamond can, I guess they can do it in a lab where you pressurize the coal and now it turns into something else. So something that can put an exertion or a force or some type of like, I'm not sure yet. I don't want to like put too much out here before the book's out, but I do
I've
have,
I've actually been doing a lot of experimenting. Like,
yeah.
if I take this rod on my body and I do this crushing force smashing into the back of a woman's vagina, it
Mhm.
sometimes could create something.
Well, Alexis, man, thank you, brother, for the support, Alexis. He says, MD, even baby monkeys and gorillas know how to walk and talk immediately after birth. A human's just not natural. We can't even eat uncooked food. It really points toward, it's not just that we're not as natural because we can live in nature. We're just not above nothing else. It's like when you look at us in nature without tools, we're basically prey. We're basically prey because there's no way for us to physically fight. It's going to be very hard to fight an alligator, much less more than one alligator. You get other alligators there, you're prey. So what now? Our only thing is that we can make tools, and tools basically, and being able to be in areas, to inhabit areas that are a little safer and build some type of stronghold. That's the only defense we have against nature. So it seems more like that we're unnatural in the fashion, like it seems at the least that there had to have been some type of older civilization that was more advanced than this, that got destroyed and people were living on the land in a type of a hunter-gatherer mode. Because when you look, it's like, you're right, we're struggling. You look at baby gorillas, monkeys, they up and running, they're clinging, they're much more closer to adulthood than an infant. An infant has to become a child, and then it is, as a child, it can survive, but even then it still has to make it to adulthood. But it has a much better chance, of course, as a child. From an infant to a child, we're almost defenseless. Yeah, it's like we can't even eat certain food. Yeah.
And Dave, speaking about using tools, I like that picture you used to show of it's like a ape, and it is like hanging off a tree into the lake, and it is like poised, like about to like throw a football, but it's about to throw a spear to spearfish like into the lake, and it looks like a human, like something a human would do. And it's like, bro, that ape knows how to use that tool. Like, it probably saw some humans doing that, and then so it's not like, oh, we're the only ones who can use tools or whatever. It's like
Well, the
apes
other
can do that too.
Yeah, the other thing is, what if it didn't see a human and it could have learned to do that?
Yes, that's even better.
So now we start getting into, there's so many options, and that's really the way to do it scientifically, to say, okay, we have the option that it could have seen it from something else, not just another human. It could have seen another orangutan doing it, or because I think it was an orangutan that did that, or it
Yep,
could,
you're right, orangutan. Yep.
yeah, somehow how does it realize that? You see what I'm saying? How does that realization come even for a human? And they try to say, oh, no, we were apes, and look, apes and stuff are throwing sticks, and it's like, nah, that doesn't make sense. So we have to do the thinking, and then in the middle of trying to do the thinking, we know they're just bombarding us with distractions, the fights, the politics, the religious, they're everywhere. But Alexis, brother, thank you for the support, man. He says, humans are so weird. Why is the only hair that never stops growing on our body is our head hair? No other animals is like this. We feel shameful around other humans naked, yet animals don't care. Exactly, man. This is a big thing, man, because when you look at the fact that the hair on our head never stops growing, and the other hair sometimes grows at a very slow rate, like the eyebrows, hair within the ear, because if you notice, sometimes people get older, some people will grow hair coming out from the inside of their ear. Our hair on our arms, if we have any, our legs only grow to a certain extent. And it's like it has a fail-safe mechanism, because if like women or even men, bodybuilders or whatever, that shave their leg, if it comes back, it's only going to come back a certain length. It's not going to keep growing like you're saying, Alexis. Like the hair on the head keeps growing, and it's like, holy smokes, why does it do that? Now in it makes me wonder, because there are many theories where they say that the hair is like an antenna. So like they have done studies of hair where they've had Native Americans lay on a cot, like, an army cot, and they're sleeping at night, and they're going to have somebody sneak up on him to get close to him to see if he can sense when he falls asleep fully, if some sense will be able to wake him up, and it would be the hair being the antenna. So he had very long hair, a couple of feet long, about to his middle of his back, his waist almost. And he was able to sense when because they'll do like a test where they check you with, the meters. They'll put the meters and of the encephalograph to check your brain waves and stuff to know, okay, he's in REM sleep, so he's sleeping now. So try to sneak up on him. And he would wake up. But then when they shaved his head with the crew cut, and the guy was able to get up on him, he didn't wake up. Once he fell into REM sleep, and they're like, okay, try to sneak up on him.
That story is actually in the Bible. The dude's name was Samuel. He had long hair, and that was supposedly like where he got his like strength and his power. No one could ever sneak up on him. And then Delilah cut his hair.
It had something in there that said not only was he strong, but you're saying that it had something that said nobody could sneak up on him.
Yeah, exactly. And then yep. And then Delilah cut his hair, and then
I've heard of that.
They snuck up on and then they snuck up on him, and then once they were there and he woke up, he couldn't fight him either because he wasn't strong enough. So one, it let him get close. Two, he wasn't strong enough to fight him anymore. Like he lost his strength.
That could be an ancient account of hair. But Alexis has a good question, because this again goes back to, how we're so weird that the hair doesn't stop growing there. The other parts of the body, we see the other parts, like the hair that only grows a certain amount, because people have shaved their eyebrows and then they come back, right? But they come back and they stop at a certain point, as if it's programmed to do that. So this is the stuff. Yeah, exactly, man. And we feel shameful showing that there's some type of knowingness. There's something very odd, because for us to feel that way about being naked is really something. Alexis, brother, thank you for the support, man. He says the evolution zombies never explain what evolutionary purpose does permanent growing head hair do for our survival. Why would monkeys grow this hair? Let me read that again. The evolution zombies never explain what evolutionary purpose does permanent hair growing head hair do for our survival. So what does the hair on our head, that the fact that it grows, and it doesn't stop unless you cut it, what does it do? And why would monkeys grow this hair? Yeah, so it really, it goes to show you that if they're saying, oh, we come from monkeys now, if you flip this question on them and you reverse, you say, well, wait a minute. So monkeys' hair, and apes and gorillas and baboons and chimpanzees, their hair grows a certain length and it doesn't keep growing. So now, why is it that humans, the hair in their head, and that's a very good question. That's a very good question for the evolution zombies. The evolution zombies, they can't answer that. Yeah. Yeah, they
Yeah,
definitely.
and like you said, the hair on your head is like an antenna, and the ether used to be talked about a lot, and supposedly that's where like thoughts came from and ideas, and spirituality was even said to travel through the ether and things like that, like connection with the universe. And now we never talk about the ether. We never talk about what is the purpose of long hair, like his super chat is saying. What is the purpose of certain attributes or certain things, like even when I'm fixing stuff, it's like also I get this idea of like oh, I think this will work, whatever. Like, where did that come from? You know what I mean? Like, sure, you can say like, oh, experience fixing things, you can like relate certain things, but like sometimes it's like, yeah, how do I even figure this stuff out? Sometimes when I'm fixing, sometimes I blow my own mind, dude. It's like, did I even think of that, or did that come from the ether, or what? It's kind of weird. And some people like
Yeah.
understand technology and computers and stuff. It's like, but how they know that stuff? Like sometimes they don't even know what they're doing or whatever. It's like certain people are tuned in at like certain frequencies or whatever. It's like me. I scored really high in the engineering side of ASVAB stuff, and I've been like construction my whole life, since then. But when I was in high school, I didn't have much experience doing anything. But I scored really high in the engineering side of the ASVAB. So there's certain things that like some people are good at, like, but I've never been good at like technology, computer, stuff like that, whatever. It's like, but other people like great with that stuff. They can't figure out how to screw a screw into a piece of wood. I mean, they like fumble with their way around tools and stuff and building things like so. But they're super smart when it comes to computers and stuff. So it's almost like you're tuned into certain frequencies in the ether. Like different people have different antennas that tune into different frequencies or something like that. That's another very interesting thing to me, that maybe after the origin book, man, that'd be like something cool to look into. I mean, I don't know, that's like has to do with the whole Tesla thing and the Da Vinci, how he drew up a helicopter. Like, bro, that wasn't his idea to come up with a helicopter. That idea entered into his brain from the ether through the antennas, into his head somehow to come up with the idea of a helicopter. Like that stuff is super interesting to me.
Who's that you talking about?
Da Vinci, when he sketched a helicopter, like, dude, that he did not just come up with that.
Oh
What I
yeah,
mean? That
no.
idea entered into his head.
Do you remember the hieroglyph, what looked to be like a helicopter and then something next to it, like a.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, you showing that. Yep.
So all right, we have that, and that's like about maybe 4,000 years old on the Temple of Dendera in Egypt. So there's also stuff that looks kind of odd as well. So Da Vinci, what I think is that now the Egyptian hieroglyphs, to have a hieroglyph of a helicopter, what looks to be a helicopter, would say, well, that didn't just get developed in the last couple of years and somebody make a hieroglyph. It takes some serious steps to create something like that. So now it goes back even further than the hieroglyph itself. And now 3,000 years later, you get Da Vinci or other guys that might have had the helicopter design, and he shows it in written form on the Da Vinci scrolls, which we have the Da Vinci scrolls. And then if we go back, we have what looks to be a helicopter hieroglyph in I think it's in Abydos in Egypt at the Temple of Dendera. I think that's in Abydos. But now you have that. You have something else next to it that looks like some type of mechanical traveling device. So now we have that, and then something else that looks like a ship. I had showed it before, but now then we have the light bulb, the Dendera light bulb, and it's all these different things that kind of look like technology. It looks almost too unreal to be true. And so Da Vinci, I think some of the stuff that he sketched, because even if you go back to Roman times, I'm pretty sure, like, definitely you're going to find different types of catapults. And catapults, some of them can be pretty advanced. And also, I don't think the ones that they tell us about, there has to have been a higher level of technology, because just like Alexis was saying on the other stream too, they want us to think that farmers beat advanced armies, and then oh yeah, we're free and all of this stuff. It really is like a story. So when we look back in history, it's like we're saying, okay, they're telling me this stuff about these artifacts, but I gotta think and try to figure out what it is about these artifacts. Because if you look at Egypt, right, and India, right? The two areas that have some serious ancient legendary stuff. And you know,
Well, the Middle East used to too before it got destroyed.
well, yeah, but now you look at Egypt, you look at India, right? Have you ever heard of a Romanologist or a Greekologist? No, right? We've never heard of an Italianologist, right? We've never heard of right? We've never heard of that, but we need.
Romanologist, possibly because the Vatican is there. Supposedly got, I mean, maybe
Is it
supposedly the Empire of Rome. I don't know.
is it a form like if you know how you have an Egyptologist or an Hinduologist, and one guy had
Yeah,
told me
I have
this.
heard of those. I
Yeah,
think there are people who specialize in the history of Rome, though, but
yeah.
I'm not sure what they're
Now
called.
basically, if you have something like that, now it's somebody else telling you about that people's history. And of course, when you have that, because people are going to say, oh, well, he's a scholar in that field. Meanwhile, the field we already know is Schoolhouse Zombie. It's basically Schoolhouse Zombie. Prime, good to see you. He says Jake is actually onto something. Different people will have an affinity for different fields. Personally, I realize that I do have a friendly relationship with science and health. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's definitely true. And uh
Yeah, and what you're saying about studying certain things, and I'm not trying to say, oh, yeah, Rome is good. Like, I just think Rome is like the capital of evil. Actually, that's where the Vatican is, and they're hiding a lot of stuff in the catacombs, and they're
Yeah,
hiding like a
definitely
lot of
agree.
history. Like, there is a lot of evil stuff going on in Rome.
In Rome, yes, that's
yeah.
very true. In the UK too. They say UK and Washington DC are the capitals of the world.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. The Britain, the Great Britain Empire, and then the America is just basically Britain Junior. That whole thing where Alexis June was bringing up, like, how did farmers beat like the most elite army at the time? Like, yeah, because I don't think that they lost. I think with that, we were just told, oh yeah, you guys won. Really though, they're still ruling us, just like uh that the people with the plus signs and the white and red flags, they didn't lose either. They just went to they got split up between two biggest superpowers, and different parts of the world also. Like, they didn't lose, they just migrated to different areas.
Yeah,
That's
well,
an interesting perspective.
yeah, and this is the thing when and that's why geography is so important. I always bring that in, like when we look at the world, and because now we have to realize, like, okay, in our mind, like, we know that places that we've been to, we can still see, okay, I was at the store, so I can kind of see, the store. When I was in the store, I can kind of remember some of the stuff that might have been on the shelf in the supermarket or a certain area. So when you look at a map like this, you start to train yourself to say, oh, okay, so I see that the darkened part is Asia. And if I go across that little stretch of water, I go to North America. And now in your mind, you can understand, like, okay, if I'm going off the right side, the eastern side of Asia, it should be around the back end and meet back with North America, where Alaska is, if we're working on the model of the round, which, I mean, yeah, okay, somebody can say something else about that. I know Scribe has a different belief. Other people have different beliefs.
I'll say subscribe isn't here. The UN symbol of the Earth,
Yeah,
I think, is the correct one.
yeah, yeah, no, it definitely has the thing. But the thing is to just know the basic geography, to say, okay, I know that South America is across the Atlantic from Africa, and below both of them we have Antarctica. If you go, to the right of Africa, you're going to see Australia, where that would be considered the Indian Ocean, and then the
Also
Pacific.
considered the UK prison island. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So, but the thing is,
Damn,
yeah,
you know your history, Jake.
yeah, it's very important to,
Learned a lot from MD, man. Learned a lot.
well, the thing is if we look at it now, the biggest question, and that's why I figured the Human Origins book is very, very important, because we need to really have some type of sense of an origin that makes sense scientifically, because we know that what everybody's telling us is not 100% true.
The Cabbage Patch Kids makes sense, man. That was a good stream you had, man. When you had that guest on that was talking about that, oh man, that was a good one.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. And see, this is the thing. That's part of it. When I think about part of it, like, okay, it's a little.
When you said manufacturing, man, I thought about that stream, the Cabbage Patch, man.
Well, if you really look at humans on the whole, and then when you look into all life, this is probably what I'll talk more on other streams, where you look at a cell, a simple cell, and it is so complex that you look at it and you say to yourself, yeah, this is not going to just form by chance, not just pieces of it randomly.
No way. No Big Bang Theory, some bacteria just formed itself together, formed this complex something. No, things were definitely created. Absolutely.
And when you look at it, it's like, now that's where this guy, he has a channel, a big channel. He's not a professor, but he calls his channel Professor Dave. And he's like a very high level schoolhouse zombie. And because he's just 100% evolution materialist, just like, this other guy that I was on a stream, Gnosis's stream. I think Divine, she had left a comment. Yeah, she's from his stream, and he's pretty cool. That but somebody was on the stream that I talked to about the evolution, and it got to a point where they didn't want me to ask the question. And the guy is a cool guy because I promoted his channel on another stream, Cougar Doomer, and but when I ask certain questions about evolution, and Mr. X knows this very well, that they'll start to try to say, oh, well, let me explain the purpose. And I'm like, no, I didn't ask you to explain how it works. I'm letting you know that you told me there was a bacteria that turned into another bacteria. Well, what's the name of the bacteria? And what's the name of the thing it turned into?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. And oh, well, let me tell you how evolution works. And I didn't ask you how evolution works. You know what I'm saying? It would go. And Mr. X has gone through this too.
Let's start with step one. They can't even explain step one. Yeah. And then remember that guy came on with the blind fish. And then I asked some questions about reintroducing them to light. Would it grow back? Things like that. And all of a sudden, you don't want to answer those questions. As soon as you start asking questions, they don't want to answer them.
Yep, exactly. You put them on a unicycle and they just, Alexis says, Jake,
and they start juggling. And
oh yeah, they really. I tell you, man, the questions are amazing. Alexis asks, Jake, do you believe Jesus in some form existed?
There's many historical accounts that he did exist and he did perform miracles. So I do think he was some type of spiritual entity that was above us or had more powers than us. It's documented, and many people at the time verified it. It's a fact. It's not even debatable. Historians all agree that Jesus of Nazareth did exist. He did perform miracles, and he was on earth, and he did rise from the dead. So that is a historical fact, not just in the Bible, but many accounts to document that. So I look at the Bible at the bare minimum. It is a historical book, basically. It is basically a book of history at the bare minimum.
Mm-hmm. And how old do you think Jesus, the story, could be older than the Bible story?
Because there's many similarities across the world describing a very similar character. And were they the same person, or were they the similar type of person, like a similar type or race or other beings, that were very similar, that came down to other parts of the world to also help people? That is a very good question. Absolutely.
Yeah. This is where the learning is. Divine, good to see you. Divine Hazel 444. We have the same gifts he had. We just do not hone them as he did. So she says we have the same gifts he had. We just do not hone them as he did.
Yeah, I agree. I think we are very powerful, and that's why our pineal gland is crystallized by the fluoride in our waters and by these poisons and microplastics and toxins that they put in our food to dampen our powers that we have.
So you think that they're putting these things in to prevent like a spiritual connection that we could have your
Yeah.
divine.
Jesus was black too. You know what's funny? In the Bible, it actually
Divine.
describes them as having dark bronze skin, like a very, very tan or like almost black or something like that. You know, and that's what you would think of North Africa, like very dark
I mean,
bronze type of skin or whatever. They say like
well,
his feet is
this
dark
is why I
bronze.
was saying with the different myths or the different things. Like you brought up a good thing. Was it a different people that acted in the same or similar manner,
And
or
there's, supposedly there's these shapeshifter things, and maybe on the Egyptian hieroglyphs, they just shapeshifted into something that would seem kind of almost unreal. Like, okay, a human with a fish head or a human with a snake head or something like that. Maybe they just shapeshifted into something that people would be in awe at. And then like maybe at some point, like okay, well, let me just shapeshift into look like a human, just like them, but I'm going to perform miracles so they know that I'm not like them. I'm actually something different. Or were they trying to show us that, hey, I look just like you, but I can do these things, you can do them too? Like these are great questions. Now if you dive 100% into anything, like people just dive 100% into evolution or 100% of Christianity, like you have to dive into it, but also keep your mind open. And what are they trying to teach you? Because in Revelation, John is describing things like basically modern day, like, warfare vehicles and aircraft and things like that. And then we have helicopters on ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. So that technology was invented a long time before, but they didn't have the words to describe these things. So they described them the best they could at that time. But what were these things? And there's people like these, Bible scholars that dive into this and actually say all these things, like it could have been, an Apache helicopter or something like that, that was, is what he's describing here. It could have been like lasers, what he's describing here. And we see like the, Egyptian hieroglyphs, these people holding like these laser like staffs basically. And this staff or this rod was supposedly very powerful, like was that like a laser beam type of staff or something? Is that why it was powerful? It's like, so I dive into it because it is a historical document, but they only had a limited amount of vocabulary and knowledge of certain technologies at the time. So you still, like, I learned about it because it is a historical document. There are things, in there, but you also have to look and figure out what they're trying to describe at the time. Now, of course, the church isn't going to dive into that stuff, but, me being black belt, I'm always going to be open to that type of stuff.
Yeah. No, I definitely
But yeah, I got to jump off and I'll be back on a little bit later, man. But this stream is
yeah,
super interesting so far, man.
yeah,
Man,
man.
thanks for having me on.
Definitely, bro. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think Clay Doctor hopped out too. Yeah, that is kind of deep with the I think some people refer to Jesus as Yeshua. Now I don't know too much about it. I know that it seems to me that older stories do exist. So I think it's thanks, man. I appreciate that, Alexis. I really do, man. Thanks. Yeah, it's when I think about it, it goes into now, because that's people's religious belief. They believe in a person that is in the Bible called Jesus. Other people have called that, because the J in English, we even see that in Spanish they call it Jesus Christos, and in English it's Jesus Christ, superstar, and so when I look at it, it's like, okay, Jesus, so it's like the Yeshua. Maybe the pronunciation is different. That would make sense. Just even going to Latin, Jesus over the word Jesus, but it shows how, again, how powerful words are. Because you got people, I mean, we had showed it on some of the older videos that I did commentary on, Rattlesnake Church, where the people are dancing. I mean, I kind of, it's crazy because it's crazy that one of the pastors got bit by the rattlesnake and that it ended him. And I'm like, these guys are off the Richter scale. I mean, they're dancing around Rattlesnake Church. And then the one in Africa, when he was telling people to go outside and eat grass, and people, I was like, oh my goodness, it just, the form of mind control is just on another level, to where I wonder about it, man. But the human origin part of it that I've been studying for about 12 years, and I got to remember to put that, see, as I'm going through the chapters, just editing, getting it ready, I said, should I put that in? Because I just, I said how I started to become very focused on the human origins because of certain things I saw in the medical field. And then that's what brought me to say, well, wait a second, this doesn't line up. This shows some type of pattern here that is not by chance. Alexa says, are pastors false prophets? Some of them, man, I would say even goes to the extent of saying most of them. I mean, the pastors, they definitely, they have been known to definitely keep people zombified. I had made a clip, AI clip. Yeah, I'll play it.
My brothers and sisters, can I get an amen?
The zombie pastor, the zombie schoolhouse zombie, the political
zombies, countrymen.
They all exist around us. And when I look at the human origin question, like the Jesus question, it's not really, see, that's the thing. I'm looking at it as, all right, if that is true, it still doesn't give me or anybody a full answer of how humans may have been put together physically. Like, is it thanks, man, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I got a longer one here. I think I played it before, but I'll play it now for you.
It begins with family. The zombie virus spreads like a mental illness from member to member during our most formative years, and if anyone escapes, there will always be friends to spread the infection of stupidity far beyond the walls of our homes. Junk food accompanies us on a journey of zombification that transforms many people into junk food zombies, which, when criticized, can bring about an outbreak of zombified behavior. The zombie news reinforces this type of behavior because they themselves have been zombified. The glowing rectangles program people on a subliminal level until they can never stop watching the screen. Zombie entertainers are constantly broadcasted into the minds of our population to a point where people already know who to worship long before they enter obedience school, only to further bury the mind with lessons from zombified teachers.
Yeah, the zombies are everywhere, man. It's like, to think about it. Yeah, I gotta definitely put them on the YouTube Shorts, man. Yeah, I definitely. I gotta see what's up. I know Scribe, he's got a program that easily puts it in the perfect ratio and keeps the quality. But yeah, I definitely. I have a few more clips that I was putting together with the patriotic zombies and stuff like that. So yeah, hopefully soon. Yeah, man, that guy says I still rank sports zombies as number one. Sports zombies, man. I think I actually have a clip of sports zombies. I thought I had a clip of sports zombies. No, I think that's the pool. Oh, here goes the sports zombie clip, the basketball. See, those clips, I have to put them in with narration to say, okay, like, here's the sports zombie there, or maybe redo them where it's more dramatic, like in the middle of like a sports game, but the guys are more zombified, because I did that with like an earlier version of AI. And but yeah, the sports zombies are just like on another level. Yeah, you got to have a clip of the sports fan zombie watching the sports. Yeah, that's actually a good one. Yeah, you're right. I got to make that to where, yeah, that one, because man, when I look at some people, just regular reactions from people in the stadium stands watching sports, painting themselves up. I mean, the stuff is right out of Dawn of the Dead. It's straight dawn, it's straight Night of the Living Dead at the stadium. The sports zombies are already bad, but the fat junk food eating sports fans are on a whole different level of zombie. The junk food, the overweight junk food fans, um, I mean, yeah, it's just on a level of zombification that I mean, yeah, I think about it like wow, that whole yeah, you're right. I definitely need to do some animation with that. I definitely have. You heard of the guy in Florida who deleted his wife? Wow, argument. I didn't, oh, because his team lost. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. People, I heard it over in the UK that in like Spain and stuff that they have to ban people from the stadiums because they cause too much beef. It's crazy, man. Hey, what's up, vegan skeptic, man? Good to see you, brother. Yo, we got the link pinned to the top of the chat over here, man. If you want to hop on, it's always a pleasure, man. You definitely have some great deep conversations, man, about mentality, consciousness, spirituality. You know, when I think about somebody who left a comment about the dream plan, I think it was Prime, uh, and the dream world or the dream, yeah, the dream world, I think he was saying, is the astral plane. Like he thinks it's also called the astral plane, or maybe that's what he thinks the dream world is. I would say to myself, why can't both exist? Why can't there be a dream world, an astral plane, a spiritual verse, like a spiritual universe type of thing, a non-physical counterpart to the physical? There's so much different things. And this is just the consciousness type of thought. So the non-physical. So now we see the physical. There's many different physical things. There's like the dream. The fact that the Aborigines say we come from the dream time and then we go back there. It really makes me think. It really does make me think. Yeah, definitely. Vegan skeptic says in Turkey, people take it too seriously. Yeah, and yeah, they get the man, the fact that people would do violence against another person because of a sports team and stuff like that shows an extreme level of mind control. Extreme level. I mean, this is such an experiment when we look at the sports zombie. You know something? Yeah, I think tomorrow night is sports zombie theme. Yeah, because the sports zombies are really like, yeah, I mean they are just on another level. I think I might have had another. I thought I had a clip of the football one, but yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find it. Yeah, the football sports zombie zombie movies. Yeah, the football sports zombie. I know I had yeah, I don't and I have the singing zombie. I got the political zombies that yeah, actually had one with the political zombie speaking. So this is one that I made with the political zombie speaking. Yeah, this one here. It's uploading. And I was going to put this together for the short, like what Alexis was saying. I want it to be like this quality or better.
Ask not what America will do for you. Which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and all who serve.
Yeah, so I figure I'll narrate in between that. I had another one with the with Democrat. So I've been working on the animation with the zombie and stuff. But once I narrate behind it like I did on the other one, I think I had another clip. I had one with the preacher. Yeah, some of them actually came out pretty good. Some of them came out. This one, I think it's this one or this one. This might be the something. Let me just upload both because I showed the voting zombie. I had yeah, I got to put them together where I could show them easier. I think. Yeah, that was one of the religious. This is this, yeah. Yeah, that one I might use actually. I like the way that one looks. Yeah, it kind of he gets zombified. The other one, this one here is not really. I mean, the smoke is moving, but I mean, he does get zombified. It's more like kind of Dracula-ish. And thanks, man. I appreciate that, Jake. Yeah, man. The well, that's yeah. I mean, hopefully, uh, there's a guy. Yeah, yeah. There's some crazy stuff. The sports zombie is just is very very odd. It's very odd. The political zombie. This is the zombie voter. I think I played this before.
We must vote harder this time.
Yeah, and then the sports zombie. I thought I had a different type of sports one. Then the schoolhouse zombie.
Just believe what they tell you. I finally.
Yeah, it's a sports zombie. But yeah, once I get them all together, then it'll be a little better because then I can narrate and stuff like that. But with the human origins thing, with the Jesus question and stuff, I leave that to people. They're religious, So yeah, and the sports is much. Yeah, you're right. It's a bigger. You got people that are religious. I mean, sports is a religion actually. Sports is a religion on top of religion. Yeah, that actually yeah, the sports, when I look at some of the sports zombies, people have been ended. They've been ended at the stadiums. It's crazy, man. Yeah, thanks, Jake, man. Yeah, the YouTube shorts. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna make, yeah. Yeah, I definitely gotta I think about it and it's just like the sports zombie is very big, but the music zombie, man, it goes along with it. Alexis says, do one on red pill zombies, not focusing on the grifters, but the everyday red pill zombie person. There's tons of funny clips of red pill zombies approaching. Yeah, they are. I was trying to like keeping it kind of. Thank you, Divine Hazel. I appreciate it. Yeah, to where it's like I'll talk like try to hit a little bit on the subject. I kind of just stay a little safe on the dating thing. I think I had another. I thought I had another clip of the medical zombie. Yeah, that's the medical zombie. I think I had uploaded on one when the medical zombie's in the bed. Yeah, I got to do the narration for them. So the narration is the is what's really gonna seam them together a lot better. And I think I might have had another. I got the one in the newscasters. I think I put the newscaster one in the longer version that I had too. But yeah, I have let me see if I got another clip of I had the voter one, political zombie. I think I got the computer zombie, and the mental shields. I had one with the mental shields. So where, let me see. Yeah, I got some with the mental shields that let me see. That's the priest. All right, that's the priest, the basketball zombie. Yeah, the basketball zombie one was so, but this is the mental shields to prevent the zombie from eating the thoughts out of someone's head, to where a person can shield their mind and prevent the the zombie from trying to eat the thoughts. Yeah, people get angry when you tell them that you don't vote. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Anything but yeah, you definitely if it's a voting zombie, a political zombie, political zombies, I mean, they are like just on another level of it's I call it the left and the right on politics is really like the left and the right wing of an asylum. It's like whoever's on the left wing of the asylum or the right wing, it's the same asylum. It's the same asylum. Yeah, it just, I think about it. It's just like when the political zombies, it's when it's the same asylum. It's just some of them are on the right wing of the asylum and some of them on the left wing. Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. The zombie spectrum is real. The zombie spectrum is real. It just it's an easy way to classify the zombies and to say, okay, so, but going back the human origin thing, of course, yeah, it's very important because it kind of de-zombifies somebody from the fifth category, the schoolhouse zombie. We know is dangerous because the schoolhouse zombie thinks that they're smarter than they actually are. So not only can they be dangerous to themselves, they can be dangerous to others. And that's the thing where, again, it brings in the laws of stupidity. More stupid people, law number one, than we ever anticipate. And then the second law, stupidity is independent of anything else a person does. So if they're a pilot, musician, a teacher, a professor, they can still be stupid. Ignorance has no prejudice, but stupidity doesn't either. So this is why the schoolhouse zombie, history, science, math, English, we see it on the fifth column going vertical. Yeah, it's something to where they can really be Dunning-Kruger zombie. Yeah, definitely you got holy smokes, Dunning-Kruger zombies everywhere. And that's evolution. That's basically the people that push the evolution, they push the religion. The thing about religion is, I've said it before, they at least admit it's a belief, that they're religious. They're like, look, that's their religion. It's what they believe in, requires no proof. And that's why it's called a belief. Evolution is a religion that doesn't even know they're religious. So the people that adhere to the religion of evolution, they don't even know that they're religious. It's almost like imperceivable to them. So they're in a state of mind control, or they're in a different part of the asylum, that non-corporeal like asylum that we can kind of imagine in our mind where these people would be. Like if you look at politics, the whole cabinet, it's like a different level of an asylum. I mean, looking at life like that, because it's a circus show. We see the sports zombies and we're like, okay, all these people are acting like this is the most important thing in their life. In their life. And that's dangerous. See, when you look at the sports zombie, a lot of sports is just, it has that underlying feeling of war because people are at war. And then you see how the fans act. It shows you that, wow, it fits the definition of the full length word fanatic, because these are fanatics, sports fanatics. And for short, they call them sports fans. And they don't want people to think about it. It's like the store. They don't want you to think it's the storage. I'm going to the storage. Well, wow. Why don't I shouldn't be going to the storage as much as I go. But if I call it the store, it doesn't seem as bad. It doesn't seem like I should be storing stuff up. I can always go to the storage, but I'll call it the store to give it that illusion that say, oh, I can always just go to the store. You know, if they say anything on the news about a shortage or something, it's done. You go there, over. It never began. Once they put that on the news, and in the suburbs, it's the same as the city. The country, you might have a couple of days or whatever. If there's some type of short, we already saw what happened when they were, during the thing a few years ago. It's crazy. Jake, what's up, man?
Yo, MD, I wanted to jump on real quick and just say, dude, that short where you were narrating the whole time, where it's like, it starts with like one member in the family, then he infects the rest of the family, and then before you know it, everyone is zombies. And if you somehow escape your family, don't worry, there's friend groups waiting to turn you into a zombie. Then there's zombies shown on TV, celebrities and politicians. Bro, when you're narrating that clip, like as things were changed, bro, just turn that into a short, man. That thing looked professional and good, man. That was awesome.
Thanks, man. Yeah. I'll work on it tomorrow, Sunday. Hopefully I can get
that. Oh, man, I didn't think you need to work on it, man. It's good the way it is, man. Just clip it into a short. Boom, dude. It's ready.
Cool. I mean, I think it has the ability. Anybody can clip it, right? Like on YouTube. I think.
I'm not sure how to do it, man. I don't really know how YouTube works or how to make shorts or anything. But like, dude, that one's ready, dude. That one was professional, man. Good job on that.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So someone said earlier in the chat too, like, you should make more shorts because YouTube will push it more and they'll bring more to the channel. I'm like, well, boom, there it is right there, man. You got a professional short right there.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I think I gotta narrate it a little louder, right?
No, I think it was perfect the way it was, man. Like perfect. Like to clip it, put it out there, man. It's good, and then it's perfect because like in case you change the name later on or whatever, it's like Wisdom Radio, or if you're gonna change it to like Human Origins or whatever you might change it to, like later. Well, right now it's American Zombie, and you got that zombie clip with the perfect professional narration, the good AI, and draw people to the American Zombie channel. And then if you change the name later, well, they'll already be subscribed to this channel and they'll follow it because it's the same type of like. People who are awake are going to listen to that type of stuff. So I say, man, clip it, put it out there, man. It's ready. Like, man, it's good. Like, someone told me, man, because like sometimes in my work, actually, like there's a little bit of like artistry in some of the stuff I do. Like, so, like I'm like really good at like remodeling stuff, but sometimes I'm a little bit too much of a perfectionist, and so it takes me a little bit longer to do stuff. And sometimes it takes like a little bit too long, And so, if someone told me this, man, like one of my clients told me, perfection is the enemy of progress. And I'm like, dude, I've been thinking about that a lot because sometimes people don't care if it's perfect. You know what I mean? Like they just care if it's done. Like I did a good enough job. I got it 90% of the way good, but I'm like a little bit too much of a perfectionist. So I know I can if I take more time to get the extra 10%, but most people don't even care about the extra 10%. Now, sometimes you'll get a client who wants a 10% and they're willing to pay for it. Okay, well then it makes sense for me to take my time to do the extra 10%. Because that last 10% takes up like almost as much as the 90% did, or half the time that the 90% did. You know what I mean? It's like something in 10% what for the same amount of time that it took 45% of the way to get the job done, but I'm not getting paid any more money. And it's like, it doesn't make sense to do it, like 100%. But it's like people just want it done. Like, okay, it's not perfect, like that's fine, but they didn't even notice these little tiny things that I'm talking about. To them, it was 100% done. They're happy with it. It's good that they want to pay me, and but they don't want the project to drag on forever. So that's one thing I had to learn about myself, and yeah, because I'm really passionate about what I do. I take a lot of pride in what I do. I've been doing it for a long time. And MD, I know you're passionate about what you do. You want to be perfect. But anyway, I just want to pass on that advice. Someone told that to me, man, and I'm really trying to take it to heart. Understand, hey, man, people just want it done. It's good enough. It doesn't got to be 100% perfect. It's 90%. Boom, ship it. It's good. That's why I think about that short, man. I know you probably think that's got to be narrated a little bit louder. It's not 100% perfect, whatever. Bro, to me, that was professional looking, perfect. I'd ship it, man. That's just my opinion.
Wow. Yeah, I gotta do that, man.
He's man, you got so many books. You're like, man, I'm editing it. I'm gonna get it out. Bro, who cares if there's a misspelling? Bro, you got tons of haters. People are gonna try to oh, whatever. Bro, haters are gonna hate, man. But the people who are looking for information are gonna gloss over the typo. They know what you're trying to say and be like, wow, this information is mind blowing. My mind is on fire right now, and it's really making me question reality and looking at more things. And I want to keep reading this book. If this author puts out another book, I want to read another one. They don't care about the typo. The people who are going to read it and buy it, those same people are going to read and buy it, and they're going to pass it along, talk about it on other streams. They're going to recommend it to friends, and it's going to start growing like wildfire. It's like me, man. All my work I do is good. I'm getting referrals, and people want more work done by me. So I'm like, man, I got to get it 90% of the way there and call it good and move on to the next job. It's I can't spend forever, on this one little thing that, is trying to perfect it. It's man, you got to ship it and go. And, if someone's willing to pay for it, or if it makes sense to spend that much time on it, which 90% of the time, 95%, it does not make sense to spend that much time on it unless someone's willing to pay for it. You know what I mean? Then, but anyway, perfection is the enemy of progress. It's a really good saying that I need to learn to, to live. And that's what I've been working on. I was kind of thinking about you, Dex. I saw that. I'm like, man, that thing is perfect, man. Send it, man. Put it out there in the YouTube world. Let YouTube push it. Attract some more people. Makes more people buy your books. You get some more subscribers. I get ads all the time, man. When I'm watching, on StreamYard, I won't get the ads. But in the middle of watching it, man, ads will pop up now all the time. And when I go to click on your channel, boom, there was 2 ads right off the bat, man. So you're gonna start getting this ad money and stuff. And the more subscribers you get, the more money you're gonna be making. And YouTube likes to push those shorts, man. And shorts is how you draw people in. That is a perfect short to draw people in an American Zombie. So anyway, man, just want to pass on the advice to you that someone gave to me.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I gotta clip that. Yeah, I'll definitely. And you're right. It's I do want to feel you get to be a perfectionist, and then I'm I want to make it sound better, but like you said, it might be.
And then how many books are not published, dude? I'm waiting for them. Publish the book and let me buy it. You know what I mean?
yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so you're right. You're right,
dude. It was awesome, man. You did a great job, man. I wanted to compliment you on it. I think it's perfect.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, tomorrow I'll see if I can. I gotta clip it in a way, because you gotta clip it and then re-upload it. So I gotta record it somehow or find.
I like it. Give yourself a 24-hour deadline, man. I like it. Tomorrow evening it's gonna be out. I like it.
Hopefully, if I could talk to Scribe, he would clip it for me. Hopefully, I didn't.
Tell him to put your differences aside. You guys are brothers. Quit the bickering. Tell him he needs to help you out, man. If I clip that, it'll probably take him 10 minutes to do. You know what I mean? You go with the computer and stuff. Man, tell him to clip it for you and send it out, man. And tell him to jump back on his co-host one night.
He's doing, I think, some website stuff. So that's why if he's free, then yeah.
He's got 10 minutes. Come on, he's a brother. Come on, man. You got 10 minutes for a brother.
Yeah, he'll well, he came on what was it, a couple of days ago. He jumped on for a little bit.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I haven't seen him for a while. I probably fell asleep by then. Sometimes I fell asleep on stream. My bad.
A matter of fact, him and Vegan Skeptic had a really good conversation, because I had left, and then he was talking with him, and they were getting deep. So he actually, I think, who else? It was Vegan Skeptic, and I think maybe Mr. X, and it was maybe 2 or 3 other people. It was a few people that Vegan Skeptic gets deep, man. I mean, real deep with the conscious part of reality.
Dude, I like those type of conversations, man. I'm going to go back and find. You said a couple days ago, Scribe and Vegan Skeptic. I'm going to go find that.
Yeah, I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 streams ago, like in that 3, maybe 4 at the most, but it was definitely a couple of days ago. And
Yo, the other thing I want to mention real quick is that I saw, man, yesterday or 2 days ago, someone was talking about the poverty line, and like MIT came with a new study, and it has definitely moved. The inflation has skyrocketed. I know the news is lying. Oh, food's up 3% or whatever. No, dude, food's up way more. I don't know where they get these lying BS numbers from. But anyway, so like MIT came out with this study since after the whole Conan thing, and because they printed double the amount of money in the time of the Conan in just a few years. So obviously, inflation skyrocketed and the value of the dollar went down. So they were actually saying the poverty line, the way they used to establish it was based on like the price of food and whatever, But basically, if they like did the same metrics of like all the essentials that a household needs, they based off a family of 4 for this one. It was basically the poverty line is now $140,000. Is what it would be. It was actually like 136 or something like that, but it was like 120. But then you have to add in taxes on top of that, so it'd be about 136. Before taxes, what you have to make for a family of 4 to just have the essentials. So that's not like average. That's the poverty line, is what they're saying. And I remember, man, because MIT came with a study like what's the poverty line for singles, and they take the national average. The same thing. That number, the 136. $136,000 for a family of 4 is not a poverty line. That's the national average. So in some places like California and New York, it's going to be higher than that. In other places like Mississippi or something like that, it's going to be lower than that. But that was the national average, $136,000 for a family of 4, and for a single person, the national average was like $85,000. It's like the minimum that you need to make it to like have all the essentials and like necessities now. So. Bro, but did anyone else did anyone get a pay raise like to double? Did people get double the pay raises lately? Because that didn't happen. They printed double the money, and inflation is going up, and insurance and vehicles and car insurance and food, like all this stuff went up, but no one really got a raise. There was maybe a meager 1%, 2% raise or something like that. People didn't get 50% raise. So man, like Americans are hurting right now. There's lots of videos going around where people are like, man, I can't even survive. I can't afford to do this, whatever. Women are looking for, jumping in relationships now. I mean, they still want to cheat and but they just want to live with somebody to help them afford their nails and their hair and all this BS that they got accustomed to that they don't need. But bro, Americans are struggling.
Yeah, and then they give $40 million to $40 billion, right? 20 billion and 20 billion to Argentina, right? How much did the U.S. give?
Really? To Argentina, where certain plus sign white and red flag people migrated to, and America's dumping a bunch of money there.
The United States has recently provided a financial lifeline. So when we need it, it doesn't, it's some type of excuse. And they give them a financial lifeline to Argentina centered on a 20 billion currency swap. Holy smoke. This is
wow.
Not a direct give or grant. Key details, 20 billion. This is like so really just. This is
billions to Ukraine and billions over here. And meanwhile, Zelensky's net worth skyrocketed. You have all this insider trading going on, and inside the American Congress.
They're making. They're taking the tax dollars and they're bailing out some. This is so crooked. It's sad, bro. In my opinion, this is like total level corruption.
Yeah, meanwhile, Americans are struggling. There's tons of Americans struggling to even get by and afford the necessities, essentials, but their government just giving money away to other countries, and then we ain't got clean drinking water in Flint, Michigan. Still, we got all these problems in America, just giving away all the money. Though it makes. How is there not a revolution, man? That's why this whole old farmers with pitchforks. Were Americans ever really that rebellious, or did they just tell us with that we won? If the plus sign people with the red and white flags from Germany, if they just migrated to different countries, did they really lose? You know what I mean? Did we really rebel against the British? Or were we just told these things? Because if this 2% tax on tea, so we had a Boston Tea Party. We're getting taxed to death and inflation, to death, and
I think
to starvation. No one's doing anything.
Boston Tea Party might not be real.
I don't. That's what I'm saying, dude. I don't think so. I think all that stuff were just stories to just be like, yeah, we got the American spirit. What's the American spirit? Watching sports ball and eating McDonald's? Because that's what I think American culture is.
And
Getting stepped on and not doing nothing about it. Yeah.
Yeah, he said Trump is funding Ukraine. I didn't know. Wow. That's crazy, man. That is so crazy. It's just, man, on a level of pure crime, man. It just, you wonder. You really start to wonder. It says $20 billion, man. Valued it up to $40 billion. Tried to coordinate.
And speaking about throwing money away, Zelensky was wearing, like, he refused to wear a suit because my people are in a time of war, so I won't wear a suit. Meanwhile, he's pocketing money. His net worth is skyrocketing, but he's putting on a good image for the camera and for people to say, "Oh, I feel so sorry." I remember, like, so. He's acting like he can't afford a suit or he won't wear a suit. His country is so poor and broken right now. It's like, his net worth is skyrocketing. He's pocketing money.
Those, and it's crazy amount, 200 billion is just ridiculous. I mean, that was like the biggest open, in my opinion, robbery of the treasure of the people, basically, of the US. And it just, but now I looked up how many trillion was missing from the Pentagon. 2.3 trillion. Now,
and that was back over a decade ago. You know what I mean? So that was a lot of more money. Probably 3 trillion now, at least.
I think it says here the figure often cited at 2.3 trillion could not adequately track or document in the 1999 audit. So they've been being audited for over 25 years. The money was not missing in the sense of being stolen, but rather a reflection of significant long-standing accounting and bookkeeping problems. So they even trying to covering it up. I mean, this is trillions. And then, this is crazy, man. And nobody
all the big corporations, dude, they never pay taxes either. So all that tax money, it's all from the hardworking middle class people.
This is the Department of Defense. This is the Pentagon. So this money is directly coming up missing from the government themselves.
Right.
And about a deficit. It's like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? There's 2.3 trillion. That's 2,000. That's 2,300 billion dollars.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. That's not like government money that just got pulled off the government tree. No, that's all the hardworking middle class people's money, because the big corporations, they always pay $0 in taxes or almost nothing in taxes. So all that money came from hardworking middle class, low class Americans.
Yeah, and it's really when you look at it, the fact that people are asleep to that. Like the zombie, this level of zombie stuff, the fact that we're even talking about this, you got super big channels that when they don't, it's like people ain't thinking.
And here's the thing, man, that I thought of to kind of solve the tax problem or whatever, right? Let's just say a corporation, right? They might make like $1 billion. Let's just scale this down so we can use these numbers like a little easily, whatever, Let's just say a corporation makes $100,000 gross revenue. Now they got to pay all their employees. They got, material expenses, and they got, office building expenses. They got all these expenses, right? But I mean, if you're in business to make a profit. So now they try to say, oh, we need to buy new things. Like, I need to buy a new jet to offset the cost for every, they wouldn't be playing these stupid games if we just made it like a straight flat tax rate, right? Like, oh, I got to buy all new vehicles, got to buy new aircraft, I got to buy a new office building, that way can offset my taxes, whatever. No, instead of playing these stupid like tax games, whatever, let's just say you're in business, right? Like you're going to try to make a 20%, 25%, 30%. Some businesses are making, 40%, 50% profit, whatever, let's just tax them all at 1% of the gross revenue. You make $100,000 as a business. So we're going to scale this down so we use easy numbers. Let's just say you made a 25% profit that year. So you made a profit of 25 grand. And so what they do is like, okay, when we go buy a $25,000 truck and say it's a business expense, so now I pay $0 in taxes. So they're buying all this new stuff that they don't need and then not paying taxes. And then we get all the tax money from the hardworking middle class people. No. How about instead we just tax all the corporations? Hey, man, you're getting a flat 1% tax rate. Okay, so it's $100,000 that you made gross revenue. You're going to pay $1,000 in taxes. Like, is that bad? Like, would that not now? Of course, we need to times these numbers by like 100, right? Like, oh, they made actually, $100 million, and so they're going to pay $1 million in taxes. Well, if we started collecting taxes from corporations like that and businesses and everything like that, just do 1% of the gross revenue, and then if we up to 2%, oh, we're doubling it. And then the average hardworking American that you had to, work, for that money, you should be paying almost nothing in taxes. Sure, we should pay a little bit in taxes because we use the roads, we use whatever public facilities, public water, things like that. That money should be schools. That money should actually go towards those things, though, not Ukraine, not other countries, Argentina, whatever. But we should be paying barely anything in taxes, and then the corporations should be paying the majority of taxes. And we're taxing them at a 1% rate. So let's say they made a 25% profit. Well, then 1/25th of your profit is going to go to taxes. Meanwhile, Americans are getting taxed, and about 30% of our income goes to taxes, between 30 and 50% when you add up all the taxes. The DMV taxes, the property taxes, the income taxes, sales taxes on food. When you go to buy just food, you're getting taxed. Like everything, you add up all those taxes, you're paying somewhere between 30 and 50% in taxes. Meanwhile, we could just tax corporations 1/25th of their income, or 2/25th, or like a 1/12th of their income would go to taxes, right? So less than 10% of their income would go to taxes. But meanwhile, instead, what we do is we have all these different taxes that add up to 30 to 50% of the hardworking people's money is being taxed away. And then on top of that, in the first place, they didn't even make enough to be above the poverty line in the first place. But then these corporations have got all this money to blow and keep buying new vehicles and new buildings and new aircraft and you see how messed up the tax system is? Why can't we just tax them at a flat rate, man? You made 100,000, it's 1% or it's 2%, just a small percentage, and we can fix all the problems just like that. Simple as that. But they don't want to do that because the rich politicians only help the rich elite friends. That's what it comes down to.
I mean, it in our opinion.
In my opinion. Anyway, I got to jump off into that. I got to finish doing something real quick for work, and then man, I might help out a little bit later again.
No, I hear you, bro. I hear you. Yeah,
but I think, man, a text idea to me, man, like makes perfect sense. And it's not like I'm the first one to think of something like this. I'm sure plenty of people have, but all of a sudden they got deleted or they get silenced or whatever, right? It's like, well, that just obviously makes sense. Like, well, why wouldn't we do things that way, But like, nope, of course not. We can't do that.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, man. Yeah, it's definitely, we live in a world where it just, it's very reminiscent to a zombie movie. And even though I'll be going forward with the Human Origins channel, I looked at some of the, I'm still contemplating. Vegan Skeptic was putting in some pretty good names and a couple other people before. But until then, of course, I mean, regardless, even with that, once the knowledge of human origins comes forth and I can publish it, it still doesn't discount the fact that we're in zombie world. It doesn't the laws of stupidity by Bonhoeffer and Cipolla stand always. I mean, it's so important. I mean, I wanted to publish something on that, but I figure in the future, maybe a quick publication on a revision of it because it's necessary. I mean, we live in an epidemic of immaturity, and that's what it seems. That's why the name of the stream, an epidemic of immaturity. When you look at the leaders or the misleaders that some people would call them at, and you see the real face, you start to say to yourself like, wow, it really says a lot. It really, really says a lot. I mean, this is something that is self-evident. Well, it's in plain sight, basically, and it's something that we see has a hold on the minds of many. The fact that you have the majority of people zombie out, and one thing is to not be able to say what you want to say. The whole other thing is when they try to eat the thoughts out of your head and make you say what they want you to say. So it's like you can't even have private thought. And now with the electronic stuff, that is I mean, the level that when somebody really looks at it, the level that they are at right now with the electronic, and especially the wireless technology, it's frightening that it's in the hands of people that are controlling everyone, because they're pushing forth some type of agenda that the regular person doesn't really get much to say about. And the majority of people, kind of like if this is the bus that's heading toward the cliff, the majority of the other larger channels are fighting over the seat on where they're sitting. And that cliff, that person had, explained to me on this stream, is they have a name for it, Seneca Cliff. And it really makes me wonder, man. It really makes me wonder about matter of fact, let me look it up. Seneca was I think a Greek philosopher. Seneca Cliff. So Seneca Cliff, a Roman philosopher, Seneca's quote, "Fortune is sluggish growth, but ruin is rapid." And that is a very real saying. That is a very, very real saying. It's based on Seneca's writing applied mathematically by Hugo Bardi to complex systems. Core idea: growth rise is slow and gradual, but collapse, so the fail, is fast and dramatic. The mechanism occurs in systems where increasing demands or unsustainable reinvestments lead to a tipping point, after which the system rapidly unravels. The examples would be resource depletion, like models like fossil fuel production decline being much faster than its peak. The business failure applied to the rapid downfall of companies like Kodak after long growth periods. And Kodak had also tried to suppress the digital camera. I mean, they were slick. They were definitely something greased up over there. Social networks can explain the sudden collapse of online platforms like Friendster. Wow. I think that was before MySpace. Implications, a warning about unchecked growth and the need for long-term thinking and sustainability in complex systems. So yeah, they Seneca Cliff, also referred to as the Seneca Rocks, is a pretty deep thought. Dr. David Suzuki put it in as the cliff. We're going over the thing, but at least we're trying to examine where we're at. When you look at some of the other people, to just be mindless and do mindless stuff, once you got once you see the light, like in Plato's allegory of the cave, once you see that, wait a minute, these shadows that I thought were shadows, I didn't know what they were. I look and I'm like, there's a whole world out there. It's amazing. Like once you see like what they live with the glasses, you put them on. Once you see that, wait a minute, people are zombified in sports to a point of being dangerous where they might try to end each other, and not many people see it. So it's like the allegory of the cave. You're in the cave and you're saying, man, nobody else sees this, and I'm over here, only seeing with a few other people. Like, hey man, do you see the reaction that this sports game is having on people? They're actually attacking other people with different who like the other team. So imagine in other words, what they're saying is, if we disagree with you, they're going to get violent. I mean, that's some barbaric stuff that people, it's like right on the brim, and nobody cares. Nobody cares. Everybody's like, well, I mean, they have us so inundated with distractions that it comes to the point that, yeah, man, it just, this is kind of Seneca Cliff. I'm looking for some of the other, I wanted something deeper on it because when I was speaking with him, he seemed to know a lot about it. Cougar Doomer, I think it was Cougar Doomer. The Seneca Cliff, yeah, it's the principle of a system's decline, that how it happens much faster, sometimes abruptly, compared to the growth. So it's kind of like, okay, understanding that should make a person kind of a bit preparing for that decline, and possibly having an alternative strategy or a different business or something like that to avoid that. But with the intelligence in society, it's just on another level. I mean, we're seeing such a decline in that there's not much people can say. It's actually kind of scary, but for some reason the zombie machine seems to put me back to sleep, to where I forget, and I say, well, I just don't think of it as something that is that important. But then when you go back to it, you start to say, man, the fact that there's not many people to speak to in society about anything of some real meaning of existence, of knowing where, like, hey, do you kind of notice people don't want us to talk about any type of direction of where humans might have came from, civilization, how did it come about? That whole thing is distracted by, hey, these two sports team are playing for the championship. One guy is going to punch another guy in the face at an event coming up. So that's the most important thing, that this guy is going to try to punch the other guy in the face, and the other guy's going to try to punch him back. And the fact that they promote this stuff on a level that they promote it is like, what the heck? When you really boil it down to the raw dog stuff and say, wait a second, if we were to look at this as mature people, mature individuals, like the title of the stream, man, or, we basically are, but are we in an epidemic of immaturity? Are we in an epidemic of immaturity? And we are. I mean, we're in something where people, you look at the people in positions of power, and they're like children. And in a way, that's kind of disrespectful, because I think that immaturity, you have some children that are actually not immature. They actually act in a mature manner. So they actually act more mature than most of the people in the positions of power, of political power, of power of certain structures that affect the lives of many, many other people. This is, we see it in all countries too. I mean, look at what's going on in the UK. It's brutal. France and some of the other countries over there. That's really, even other countries. I mean, you see it all throughout Asia. You see, it's why is it always that there's some type of beef? Why can't people just get along? Is it something behind the scenes trying to like really keep people constantly at each other? The puppets, like the president in these football games, man. Yeah, it's crazy, bro. It is so zombie to a point where I wonder. I wonder, is it like, what's going to happen if people keep losing more people that can think about stuff critically, and gaining more people that don't want to think critically? So maybe not even that they can't, they probably have the capability to, but something has made them like apathetic on it, to say, nah, they don't want to think about it. That's crazy when it kills the desire of a person to really want to know. To say, nah, and that's like the Matrix. That's being in the Matrix. They're like, no, we're going to go to the sports game, and that's the only thing that matters. It's the only thing that matters, man. It's like, we're going to watch this guy punch the other guy in the face. He's going to try to punch him in the face, man. And you think about that, it's like, wow. So you're going to go somewhere, and you're going to put money on it too, most likely, to watch somebody try to punch somebody else in the face. for just be, they don't have a problem with each other. It's like, so you're going to put them, it's like, so we shouldn't, and you wonder, okay, so we shouldn't work together and try to think of a way to solve problems of clean drinking water, making sure everything is pristine, stuff like that. No, we want to see somebody punch somebody else in the face. It's hard sometimes to see, because somebody might be like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? And it's like, look at what they're trying to push on us and feed people's emotion to want to watch something like that instead of build a better world. It's right there in front of our face to just do it, to just say, okay, I'm not going to watch this guy chase a ball. He's going to push other guys out the way to get to a ball, and then eventually get to where he either got to kick it through like this field goal, or run it across this line, and everybody's going to jump up and down as if this is something that matters. It's the culture of make-believe on steroids. Alexis says, when are people going to wake up and say, why is the president here watching millionaires punch each other instead of running the country and lowering my taxes? Exactly. It is the bread and circuses. It is the bread and circuses that they feed everybody to say, hey, you know what? We want you to look at this, look over here while we do something over there. And it is so effective. I don't know what they're doing over there, because everybody's looking over here. Everybody's like, they have such a good way with deflecting it now. It really takes a lot of mental thought and using the power of deduction, logic, reason, trying to like basically do a math equation or something, some type of special mathematics to figure out how did they lie this time. Because we look at all the other times of how they lied, and it's crazy. I mean, look at Love Canal. Love Canal was crazy. Mr. Rex, what's up, bro? Good to see
Good
you.
MD, good MD. Just joining in right now. Tapping in right now. So I'm looking forward to your
man,
perspective on things as always.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. We got Divine Hazel up in the house. Good to see you. The phones they allow us to have frequencies that affect us. The cameras on those phones do not pick up what is really going on in the skies. Yeah, man. Yeah, those cameras. Thank you, Divine. It definitely it's there. Yeah, they have filters. Yeah, they definitely have filters. Yeah, and the puppets on the football games. I mean, the fact that the president, and Alexis brought this up very, very wisely before in the other stream, about how the president, it makes honest sense when you think he should be so busy running the country, make sure everything is working right, that you don't hear nothing from him, basically. Very, very quick, candid interviews. But no, it's a celebrity show.
Yes.
It's a celebrity show. Him and the crew, and forget about when you look at Joe Biden was very close to that show Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah. It really was.
Yeah.
Just remember him eating ice cream. That's like the big thing. Like they made a big deal out of it. That's how zombified we are. There's our leader eating an ice cream, and we're supposed to be thinking that's a big deal.
Yeah.
They laugh at us. They laugh. They really do.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. But yeah, we were.
No, I didn't want to ask you because you got me thinking a couple streams ago when we were talking about different dimensions. I credit you for get me to think of how, is the fourth dimension a shadow? Our third dimension is a shadow of the fourth dimension, and really got me thinking, that's why I love these streams, because it opens my mind up. But it's true. It's like our shadows, our personal shadows are in two dimensions, but our shadows live in the same reality as our third dimension. But we as third dimensional beings can see both. But if we lived in the second dimension as a shadow being, we wouldn't be able to see this third dimension, but it's still a part of our reality,
Yeah.
And I got me thinking the same thing with the fourth dimension, which is also a part of our reality, but we're like the two-dimensional shadow that can't see the third dimension. We just can't see the fourth. All we see is the shadow of it. So it's like, I think there's something to that. And I don't know if, your opinion on that, if that's something, a topic that maybe in the future you want to dedicate more time to, because I think there's something to that. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that when we think about, okay, does our shadow, our two-dimensional shadow, have a thought? Does it think? What does it feel like? Like, what is our two-dimensional shadow? Is it alive, right? So if we're the three-dimensional shadow of something,
In the
maybe
fourth
ourselves
dimension.
in the fourth, yeah. What are, so we're having all these thoughts and we're like, wow, wait a second. So we might just be a different type of shadow
Yeah.
to the fourth and the fifth and the sixth and the seventh dimensions and so forth. It's amazing.
It
Yeah.
really is. And I think it's worthy of discussion because there's something to it. I don't think it's pseudoscience or not true. I think there is some truth to that. I think there is some truth to that. That's a part of our reality. Like
Mhm.
if we were like how we would view the fourth dimension is the same way our shadow in the two dimension would view the third. It would view everything as a flat plane. It'd be like impossible to see it in three dimensions
Yeah.
for that shadow. But it would see just, I don't know how it would see it. Maybe in just across or so forth, just across. Like a line. I don't know, that a line that would grow larger and then smaller or something like that. Like a horizon, like the sun setting in the horizon. That'd be the best way to describe it. How the sun sets over the horizon, you know,
Mhm.
it gets one point it gets smaller, one point it gets wider, and then goes back to smaller again. I think that's how the shadow would view the third,
Mhm.
you know. I think it's the best way for us to envision how we would look, how we would see the world in the second dimension. Um, that's how we probably look, in relation to the fourth. But it's nothing. Obviously, the third dimension is nothing like that. It's completely different. You know, it's not up and down. It's three dimensions. So yeah, it's yeah. If these spirits or these ghosts are just a shadow of the fourth, and is the fourth even physical? I don't know.
Mhm.
I mean, they touched on it in Interstellar. I know when he was when the father was in, the space. He got out of the spaceship and
I mean, you're right. Looking at a shadow, I mean, it's deep. I would say
yeah,
it's second dimension. It's seeing it. It's being like, wow, look at the absence of light. It's something that I'm causing, the interference of the physical
mhm,
in response to light. So light
yeah,
shining and you blocking it, and then you see the shadow. So it's like,
yeah.
yeah.
Could light be the matter that can penetrate through dimensions? I don't know, because it's supposed to be weightless. Does it have the ability to penetrate through these dimensions? That's the only thing that could.
Hmm. I wonder, you think about traveling at the speed of light. It's like, I wonder if there should be something called traveling at the speed of darkness.
Hmm. I don't
Why
know.
wouldn't that exist? It would make sense that that also would exist. To say, oh yeah, traveling at the speed of darkness and also traveling at the speed of thought.
Yeah, definitely.
That's an easier one to try to comprehend, but traveling at the speed of darkness is a bit more like, what would that be? Would that be faster than the speed of light? Or would it be a different type of travel?
I mean, what do they call dark matter? Essentially, is that I don't know the total details of that, but I know it's a term used.
I think they might have just made it up,
Yeah,
like to where they're trying to might be seems to be another evolutionary code.
I
Like say,
agree.
oh, we don't know what that is. It's dark matter, just like
Mm,
junk DNA.
right.
And then if they find out what it is, oh yeah, it's this. It's that. It's like, wait a minute, didn't you say that was dark matter before? Or like junk DNA?
Yeah, they never
Yeah,
say they didn't know. They always have to say they know it. They always know the
yeah,
answer
yeah.
until it's
Oh,
something
yeah,
different.
exactly. No, dark matter. It's like, well, what's dark matter? Oh, we don't know.
Hmm.
But you're saying it's dark matter. So how do you know it's dark matter? What is,
Exactly.
I mean, it's
Exactly.
so ingenious the way they have these perfectly circular arguments or reasoning. It's a circular reasoning argument, and that's all they do is unicycle.
And I don't know what the purpose is because I think the only people that could fall for that kind of debate tactics are people who really wouldn't care to begin with. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like they wouldn't be that interesting to them.
Yeah, yeah,
So, but the people who like us who think about it, we're not going to fall for that nonsense because we actually want to know the truth. So we won't accept that. The people who really want to know the truth will never accept the evolutionary debate
hmm,
because they will look at the evidence. They will have an interest in it. The only person that would accept it is the person, okay, yeah, fine, that sounds good. But I'll go to watch my football game now. You know what I'm saying? Eat my
hmm.
junk food. I really, he's not going to give it much thought. So it's kind of, in a way, it's kind of stupid on their part because they're really not convincing anybody who really cares. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. It's I mean, we live in a time that is just I think about it like not too many people want to have these conversations. Like Vegan Skeptic, he's really deep with this type of stuff. Him and Scribe. I don't know, were you on the stream when he came on?
Yes, I was on there when you came on.
Yeah,
And then I had to leave. I had to go to work. Actually, I had to
okay.
leave early. Yeah.
I heard they had a pretty good conversation on metaphysics
Hmm.
where yeah, the dimensions, the one thing is, okay, the different dimensions, but then I wonder, what about the negative? Could they be a third dimension, second, a first, and then what about a zero dimension? Like, what would that be? An absence of a dimension.
Guess that would be considered nothing. Would that even exist? I don't know. I
And
don't
then
know.
before that, is that the negative? Negative
Yeah.
first dimension, negative second dimension,
Mm.
negative third dimension. I mean, logically, it makes sense because we can think about it.
Right.
But yeah, then it's like, okay, is it probable?
And I think there is some relation to the Matrix movie and definitely Interstellar because they alluded to the fourth dimension. But I think in Hollywood, they are alluding to that somewhat um, of a higher level of consciousness. I guess some people might call it a higher level of consciousness.
Hmm.
That going, there's different names that they'll use
Hmm.
uh, to achieve that higher dimension, that higher state, you know?
Yeah, like a
Um,
nirvana or something.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
where like knowledge is like what would be considered complex for us right now in this third dimension might be super easy. Like we could figure out astrophysics and everything like within an instant. We'd be like, super geniuses in that dimension. Things would be much simpler to us. It would be as complex as we find it here.
Hmm.
I mean, look at Einstein. I don't, if he did, but somebody developed that relativity of time. Somebody came up with the theory. Of course, Einstein's the one who's credited for it. But how does one even think like that? In the third dimension, how does one even say, "Wow, time is relative compared to space and matter"? And he never traveled into space. He never got on a rocket ship. It was purely based on his theories of the relativity of time. But how does one even come to that conclusion? How does one's mind figure that out in this third dimension? I don't
Hmm.
know.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, is the mind fourth dimensional? Is it fifth dimensional?
Mhm.
It could be I mean, thinking of, okay, the XY axis, and then third dimension adds in Z. So Z. So XYZ axis. And then you wonder, okay, what about going, the negative? It's like, yeah, I tell you, thinking is real. See, that's what they're afraid of. It's like we might figure something out. Like say, well,
Exactly.
wait a second, the third dimension, the shadow. Exactly. It's like,
Hmm.
that
So,
shadow is like that moving shadow. So that's a clue to say, okay, this is a second dimensional object is really, yeah, like a shadow.
hmm
That's possibly because a drawing, it kind of loosely fits it, but you can see that there's a measurement of the thickness of the lead in the paper. So there is a measurement, like you can pick it up. It does have, like, even though it's a very, very small amount in ratio to the length and width of the paper, the thickness of the paper is the Z axis.
yes, that's true.
So to a shadow, what is the width, or I mean the depth, the way, like, the paper would have the depth of, it wouldn't, it would be small, but it would still be measurable easily.
Hmm.
The shadow, how easily is that measured? Or if it is measured, is it as small as like a photon or something like that?
Right.
Or it truly seems to be that a shadow is more of a two-dimensional object. That's one way of looking at it. Is there any other example of a two-dimensional object besides a shadow? Or is that how maybe they thought about the second dimension? DB for
Hmm.
life. Too. Thank you, brother, for the support, man. I appreciate it. He says, my girl left me. I'm broken. Stream is helping. Thanks, MD. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, man. I'm really glad it's helping, bro. It's just yeah, and I was saying, Alexis was saying, yeah, keep going on. And I was like, yeah, and then Mr. X hopped on. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man.
Always here to support. Always here to
Yeah, man.
support. If the chat
Alexis,
has any questions, go for it. You know what I mean?
yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. Any questions? Definitely. Thank you. Um, Alexis says, he says he's confused. Can you explain what dimensions are for?
Well, we know there's a second and a third dimension. We live obviously in a third dimension.
Yeah. I don't know if what
And
we said might have answered it. I just noticed, yeah, it just
right. So a lot of people theorize, and I kind of agree, that there's a fourth dimension that we can't see, just like a shadow in the 2D can't see the third, but both exist and both are in reality. They both exist in the same reality. Our
mm,
shadows don't exist in a separate reality from the third dimension. They both exist in the same. So if there's a fourth dimension, then that's part of our reality too, and it affects our reality. We can manipulate the shadow. We can put things in front of the shadow. We have more control over the shadow. The shadow has no control over us, but the same can be said for the fourth dimension. So if there is a fourth dimension, then it's affecting our lives. It's part of our existence. I mean, that's why
and
it's of concern to us in the third. You know, I hope that answered it. And I'm by no means an expert. I'm by no means an expert. I want to make that clear. Was there a question for me?
I think Mr. X, you're
Mr. X, you're
confusing me.
confusing me. Why is our shadow in the second dimension? Explain like I'm five. Well, I can explain it like I'm five too, because I'm no expert, but it's a two-dimensional object on a horizontal plane. There's a length and there is a width, but you cannot measure the height. There's just length and width. Is that correct, MD? You can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, length and yeah.
Yeah, but there's no depth. There's no height to it. That's why
Yeah,
we were discussing if there's any depth.
yeah. We were trying to figure out what is the photon, like what is the matter of fact, what is
Yeah.
the
But when you look at a person, you can look at his length, his width, and his height. You can do the third dimension. When you look at other people, we're looking at people in three dimensions.
I asked it if shadows can be perceived or stimulated z-axis 2D, 3D. It's not giving me like a really.
Stumping AI, huh?
Well, I typed it into Google to see
Oh,
what Google
Google.
would just say, like as a search, and then it automatically, I think, goes to this. I guess they're AI. I guess
Yeah, I know. When I do Google search now, the AI comes up every time. Actually, I really like it. It really answers a lot of questions too. I get them real
yeah,
fast.
some questions. And this is the thing. What Alexis had asked is just to say, yeah, the second dimension. See, we're looking to see, is there like a piece of paper, the length and the width, but
Right.
that depth, we say, okay, a piece of paper has a depth because different mills of paper are going to give a different thickness. We see it
Right.
with business cards in comparison to a piece of very thin uh, newspaper or Bible paper. You see it's very, very thin. And but it's measurable. We see that if you have like a very, very fine instrument, you'll measure it. How thick would that depth be on a shadow? Like, is it a
Yeah.
photon? So if it's got the X and the Y axis to see, okay, this is where it goes on forward and back and side to side, but it can't
Mhm.
go up and down because it's flat.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So we're trying to figure out.
It's how the
Um,
shadow views the third. It only views the up and the side to side, up and down, but it can't view the depth. I think the depth of the height, whereas we can see it in all three dimensions. It's how the shadow views the third. Is I guess what I'm saying. Doesn't it see it kind of linear, like in a linear fashion, just as a line that can get wider, longer, and smaller, but it can't see the depth.
yeah, it's saying here
Mhm.
that that it's a limited but informative representation. So a cast shadow is a 2D projection of a 3D object onto a surface. So it's a limited but informative representation, capturing the object's silhouette and revealing its shape, orientation, and distance from the surface, but it
Mhm.
loses the original depth. So I think it's talking about depth and maybe the strength of the shadow.
Yeah.
So light somehow gets around. It's not like really giving me the info on how thick a shadow, or if a shadow even has a thickness, or would it be
Mhm.
like what is it? Because really it's the absence of the photon, really. It's what the photon is not illuminating. And then as you get, like, the shadow gets longer, it gets more diluted. So the shadow
Mhm.
will look more like not as dark on a certain surface. Like sometimes the shadow would look very dark, and then sometimes it would look medium dark, and then sometimes lighter, especially if you walk at night and there's two, like, street lights, you see two shadows actually are casted. So what is actually the darkness?
Mhm.
That's the deep thing. It's a yeah, that's where it gets real deep. Like what is the darkness? The darkness is like, wow, because now it's like that's what they don't want us to study. Oh, it's just darkness. What do you mean it's just darkness? What is it? Like light is, we know what light, okay, light illuminates stuff, but what is darkness, man?
Mhm.
That's like some really deep stuff to just be like, okay, the shadow is darker. Sometimes it's crisp and you can see the outline very clear. And then sometimes it gets to where it's a little blurry. I guess it's all has to do with depending on the type of light source it is, and maybe what's in between uh, the light source and the person, so that would definitely have some type of effect depending. But the silhouette information it was saying here in the thing is that the shadow shows the outline or profile of the object blocking the light. So essentially giving a 2D map of the object's shape from the light sources.
2D map. Yes.
See, that's deep, man. That is
Okay.
really, really deep. It's like, so that what is the second dimension? What is the shadow? The shadow exists.
Mhm.
The shadow exists in the absence of the light.
Yeah,
That's really deep when we
it
think
is deep.
about it. It's like,
I agree.
yeah, it's like, holy smokes, the shadow is shining, the sun shines on us, and behind us we see the shadow, and that is the absence it's some type of like remnants or something. It's like the light, we're blocking light. So darkness is actually a thing. Like
Yeah.
it's something like light, but it's dark, basically, to say the light is not hitting that. I'm blocking the light and my shadow is being reflected.
And what if that happens when we die? We have a choice of going to two different dimensions, the second or the fourth.
I
What if
mean,
that's a possibility? And the fourth is much more real life than the third, because we know the third dimension is much more like real life than the second. We know
well,
that.
I don't know. Like, what is the second? We're not pretty sure. Like, what the
I think it's
second?
only a shadow of the third. My very novice opinion, of course, it's only a shadow of the third, but it's not the whole picture. Like the second doesn't, it exists, but
So
it doesn't see the whole picture.
so if the shadow, if our shadow is the absence of the light
Yeah.
that's behind us, then the we wonder, okay, it's the light that's shining on us that's casting our shadow. So is
Yes.
light shining or something what is triggering the light will be triggering the shadow? What would be triggering something to cast us as we are right now from the fourth dimension, cast us in the third dimension? Like, are
Yeah.
we a type of, I don't know if I would call it a shadow at that point. Like, what
Well,
is
our
it?
I guess what I'm trying to say is our reality is far more complex than what we see in this third dimension.
Hmm.
Just like it's far more complex than the 2D can imagine. You can't
Mhm.
even think about a third dimension, but it
Well,
exists and it's real.
that's the thing. Like, how do we know what the 2D is thinking? You see what I'm saying? So it's like
Right.
we really, scientifically, it's like we really don't know. It's like we
Well,
want.
I'm not implying that it's thinking. I'm just saying if we were in a two-dimensional state, we would have no, and we
Mhm.
were thinking objects in a two-dimensional state, we'd have no
Yeah,
clue how to
yeah,
picture that third dimension. That's all I'm saying. If we became in, if our bodies transformed into a second dimension, let's just say it would be hard to imagine the world that we currently live in, that we can see
mhm,
every day and we take for granted. But I think the same holds true right now. We can't comprehend that fourth. And if it's part of our reality, then there's a whole more to this earth, to this world than we see, or this universe, and add in that universe,
mhm.
And that's why I think maybe these scientists like Einstein, their minds or some way they could tap into that fourth dimension to understand the
Yeah,
relativity of
yeah,
time. Because how else could you comprehend something like that? Just
yeah,
being on Earth, I don't see how you could do it.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, it's true.
You're
Yes.
theorizing about the vastness of space. How could you ever come up with that type of theory unless you saw it from another dimension?
I mean, it could. Yeah. The thing of thinking, is there a half a dimension? So does it just go to 2 to 3? Like, wouldn't there be like increments to get to the third
Very
dimension?
possible. Very
Yeah,
possible.
and then
I
from
wouldn't
the
discount
third
that at
to
all.
the fourth,
Yeah.
maybe somehow, and then fourth to fifth,
Hmm.
and then so on. That's the amazing thing, that it just, we look at the concept and reality of infinity and just say, like, this is just very astonishing. The fact that things go on forever in the outer universe. And we can also see that the more you focus the microscope inward, it just keeps going.
Hmm.
And that's just amazing. Like the whole fractal thing, it's just like, wow. So there is an inner structure that never ends. And then
Yes.
there's an outer structure that never ends.
Yes.
And within that inner outer physical structure, there is something that inhabited it that isn't a physical inner outer. It's something that's non-physical, that
Hmm.
has the ability to inhabit the physical world. So
Yeah.
kind of like, I guess we can write something on a piece of paper, and when we think about it, we can enter the world of the imagination, kind of.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of a few different ways to look at it. Like even just the letters, writing, kind of. They say that writing. I was looking. I remember finding a word that they said that I think it might have been ancient Persians would be called, the writers, because the ability to write certain things could bring things into existence, or it could do certain things, like I guess spells, or a spell binder, binding a spell, or I'm not sure, because remember you're spelling words again, so it doesn't seem that far out there. When somebody automatically, will have a religious response and just dismissing it, just the way the religious evolutionists will dismiss science that contradicts the religion, the doctrine.
Hmm.
This is like a mental thing that's just it's like a parasite that we got to be able to watch out for. It's like to so we can see things and be open to things more. So when they dismiss these things, um that really, you wonder, you say, okay, how do you even, is it, there's a point where you say, okay, there's only a few people that's even worth to try to get the knowledge through to, because
Hmm.
really it's like a beacon. You put it up, you say, okay, this is what it is. How we're very interested in these type of conversations. So this is basically what it is. And you're right, Alexis. I don't trust anything scientists say, man. The shooting stars, I'm not really sure. I mean, we know what they say they are, but yeah, it would have to go a bit deeper than that. Yeah, it would definitely have to go a bit deeper.
It's definitely worth talking about. Granted, we may not be able to find the true answer for everything. Of course, we can't. You
Oh,
know what I mean?
definitely
But
not.
nothing wrong with talking about it.
Yeah, yeah. And the
Even
good
if we
thing
got a
is,
smidgen of truth, it's
well,
good enough.
what do they say? Losing an illusion sometimes makes you smarter than gaining a truth. So
Yes,
you can learn that something's true, but honestly, you get smarter in a way when you lose an illusion, something that you thought to be true, and that just fades away. And you say, oh, wow, look at that. That's very, very powerful. Very powerful.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. It's without a doubt. But yeah, man, I was hoping that yeah, I could get some of the zombie videos together. I'm glad Jake liked it, the one that I played.
Can I
I had
see it?
played
I
it before.
happened to miss that one because I was so busy.
Oh, the zombie one.
Yeah.
Oh, here, I'll play it. I have it. I have it here. Okay, here, I'll play it.
It begins with family. The zombie virus spreads like a mental illness from member to member during our most formative years, and if anyone escapes, there will always be friends to spread the infection of stupidity far beyond the walls of our homes. Junk food accompanies us on a journey of zombification that transforms many people into junk food zombies, which, when criticized, can bring about an outbreak of zombified behavior. The zombie news reinforces this type of behavior because they themselves have been zombified. The glowing rectangles program people on a subliminal level until they can never stop watching the screen. Zombie entertainers are constantly broadcasted into the minds of our population to a point where people already know who to worship long before they enter obedience school, only to further bury the mind with lessons from zombified teachers.
Wow, that was great. That was a great job.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I wanted to redo it to make it better, but
Hmm.
Jake was saying I should just cut it into a short the way it is. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I got to make it into a short. I'll see tomorrow, but yeah, yeah, the dimensional stuff, it gets deep, man. It really does.
Hmm.
It's like, yeah, you wonder. It's like, what if you know, what if the second dimension is a place that we go to? I'm not sure. And
Yeah,
that's
or
kind
the
of odd,
fourth.
right? To think
Some
about
go to the
that.
second, some go to the fourth. Who knows?
I
And
mean, I
maybe
don't
these.
think so, but it's like, what if there's something in between? That's a possibility.
Mhm.
What if there's something in between the second and the third dimension.
Well, maybe the third is only meant to be a temporary existence, which it seems like, obviously, I haven't seen any. There's nothing for me to believe that somebody's lived forever on this earth. I haven't seen any strong evidence for that. They could say, "Oh, this guy lived 1,000 years," but yeah, anybody could say anything. You know what I mean? So.
You mean that what, like somebody lived forever? Like what do you
On
mean?
here on Earth, I've heard of stories of that, but it's like, okay, you're just saying that, but I need more evidence for me to believe in something like that. As far as I'm concerned, this third dimension is only temporary.
Okay. They're saying like what? Like this has been forever or something, you're saying?
No, that the third dimension was only meant to be a temporary existence for our consciousness.
Oh, okay. So
Mhm.
is it that we're only going to be here temporarily, or
In the third dimension,
yeah,
yes.
in the third, or like will it cease to exist when we're not here, or will it still be here?
My guess is it'll still be here because it serves a purpose for whatever purpose for the non-physical entities to enter into at some point in their existence.
Hmm.
They have to come into this third dimension for a period of time, maybe as a lesson, maybe to learn a lesson, maybe to build character or to see what struggle is like. I mean, things are just too easy in those other dimensions, and the creator, whatever you want to call him, the mind past the human mind,
Hmm.
it's a way to exercise freedom too. To exercise your free will, do what you want. It's like recess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, go out, have fun, do what you
Hmm.
want. You know what I'm saying? Uh, it seems like a test. It seems like a lesson. That it definitely does.
I
Uh,
think that's what the Aborigines were trying to say. Like they said, we come from the dream world and then we go back there. Um, yeah, man. Yeah, a while ago. Thanks. Yeah. Hopefully, I can get another one with over 1 million views. That'd be great.
what happened to
Um,
Million Views? Which
we
one was
do a
that?
stream on the evidence of other creatures' existence, such as giants. Yeah. We definitely some stuff about the giants, right, Mr. X?
Yeah, just what I've researched. Watch these videos on the internet, and a lot of strong support. But it seems to get suppressed. I mean, that one story from the giant from Kandahar, I believe it was, when the Army Rangers encountered it.
Mm-hmm.
Some very well-respected soldiers, high level too, claim they saw the giants, but they were told to keep quiet. And I know they found skeletons. That's been confirmed that they have
Mm-hmm.
found skeletons because I've seen the pictures, but they've oppressed that information too.
Hmm.
Yeah, definitely think it'd be a worthwhile topic. Now, there's one thing to be able to look at the evidence. There's another thing based on life experience, and I just believe 100% that they do exist. I do
Yeah.
believe 100% they do exist.
Yeah. And like, what have you seen any like documentaries, like Smithsonian stuff or whatever? I know I've heard stuff about that.
Yeah, they claim that they have them better, hidden away in their archives that is not available to be seen from the public. That's what I've heard, and a lot of old newspaper reports of people finding these giants and so forth, but the government seems to not want people to know about it. The problem is that there's at the highest levels, we don't know what really goes on, but I think they do, and it's probably an issue of sharing technology. I'm guessing they have advanced technology, which I think it does exist, and I think that's why mankind has been able to progress so far so fast. And it's only a select group of people that are chosen who can have access to that information. Uh, Hybrid race, yeah, I would believe in that personally. None of which could be proven. This is all the supernatural, but I believe the supernatural is a part of our existence. Uh, yeah, I don't think everything is scientific.
Yeah. It does seem like a supernatural existence, definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah, they gotta hide. Yeah, they're hiding stuff. They will definitely get deep into it. Yeah, a stream about the Giants. That would be a good idea. Alexis was saying.
I definitely think that'd be a great one.
Yeah, I know Scribes got a lot of stuff on that too.
Mm. Yeah, he knew a lot about that incident in Kandahar in Afghanistan. Yeah, that was one famous one. I think Ken Hovind has some stories about that too. He's got a lot of good stuff, actually, believe it or not. I know he's the type that wants to push the religion, but he does have a lot of good stuff as far as
Who, Hulk Hogan?
no, not Hulk Hogan, Ken Hovind, Ken Hovind.
Oh, Kent Hogan. Oh, I was
Yeah,
like,
no, not Hulk Hogan. Yeah, that'd be something. He's a giant himself, but may he rest in peace, of course. But yeah, no, Ken Hovind, he has a lot of good stuff about giants and these ancient civilizations. Yeah,
Mhm.
he had a lot of good information. Unfortunately, though, he does push the Christianity. Now that is one thing that he does.
Yeah, they definitely
But
don't want people looking into the Giants. I don't know. Did Hovind? So you're saying Hovind talked about the Giants or no?
Hovind, yeah, he's got some videos on the giants too, I believe. Yeah, I know he has one
Hmm.
about prehistoric dinosaurs that they found some just like he has a picture of one in an old newspaper article of them finding something that looks like I can't remember the exact dinosaur, the name of it, but I think it was the flying dinosaur. But it was definitely it looked like a dinosaur. That basically what he's saying is those dinosaurs are still here, they still exist, they never went extinct, and yeah.
Yeah, they definitely hide the Giants. Alexis is right. Are they extinct or hidden? I would say, honestly, they might be hidden.
Hmm.
Because when they say stuff is extinct, I think that's another word that they use to hide things. It's like,
Yeah.
why wouldn't there be like places where it could exist? I think. I mean,
I know UFOs are real because I saw that for myself. That's my own personal experience. I saw that for myself. Whether it was some advanced government technology, I don't know, but I saw what I saw. It was there.
wow.
It was flying above, and it looked like an orb. It looked like a red orb, but it was a ship.
In the museum?
No, no, no. In the Everglades, one
Oh,
night,
oh,
overnight when I was working, and I saw it in the Everglades. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Alexis, brother, thank you for the support. Alexis. Alexis says, MD, your thoughts on the NFL playing, joining the Army Rangers after 9/11, then getting offed by friendly fire after criticizing the Iraq War and saying they
That's Pat
shouldn't be there.
Tillman. Pat Tillman, the safety for the Cardinals, the player who died. Pat Tillman.
Absolutely. Yeah. In
Yeah.
my opinion, he definitely was a zombie that woke up. Yeah, because he was full zombie. He gave up a scholarship, right?
No, no, he was an NFL player. He gave up a contract. He gave up millions of dollars. He was
Whoa.
already in the NFL.
Pat Tillman.
Yeah. He was
Man.
already an NFL player for the Cardinals. He was a safety. I
And
remember
he
that
woke
story.
up over there. You heard about the story? Like, you know about the story?
I don't know how he died. I know it was from friendly fire. That's all I know. But he was a full-fledged NFL player with a I don't. We're talking, in the NFL,
Mm-hmm.
$1 million is nothing. That's like minimum wage. You know what I'm saying?
That's like
But yeah,
unbelievable, man. Yeah,
he gave it all up. Hmm.
it shows us. Yeah. He says, MD, thoughts on the NFL player, Pat Tillman, joining the Army Rangers. Yep. After 9/11. And he got offed when he criticized it and saying that they shouldn't be there. Exactly. And he was a zombie that woke up. He definitely was, man. And
Look
it
what
was
happened
so
to SEAL Team
sad.
6.
Yeah, his family, it took a while for them to get the case open so they would really know what happened to their son. It was really, yeah, man. Thanks, brother. It just, yeah, Pat Tillman, that I would say it lets people know, like, look, man, don't go full to where you can't believe everything. No one's going to tell you everything. So when they say, oh, you know, you join the Rangers or you're going, this or that or whatever happened on 9/11, you can never believe the whole story. Yeah, they are. It's so sad because it shows the danger of believing and then waking up. And the thing is when you look at that, he probably couldn't really live with himself. And if he would have just stayed quiet to get home, he would have been safe. when you're out there in wartime, yeah, they're gonna offer you. Yeah, yeah, it's so sad that he did that. His battle buddies have said near his death he didn't like the war and knew it was it's really sad. And they probably knew that they better chill. And Pat was probably outspoken because he believed in the illusion. You're right.
Yes. He had
Yeah.
to be full-fledged zombie to give up an NFL career to join
Yeah.
the Army
Yeah.
Rangers. Because you're giving up millions of dollars, a great life to do it. You have to be full zombie at that point.
Yeah. Well, and like how Alex is saying, he was a zombie. Yeah, he was a zombie, and then he woke up. Yeah, man. He definitely. It's sad that his friends, man. Yeah, it's really sad. I mean, to have somebody wake up like that.
I said, wait a minute, is this what I'm fighting for?
And also, not to think that they would do something like that to you. I mean, that was another part of the illusion because you're in the Army.
Mm-hmm.
Their job is killing.
Yeah.
The government also stated that he got offed by the farmers. His family forced them to admit the truth. Years later. Yep, exactly.
The government lied. They lied
the
about
government.
that.
Yeah. The Pat Tillman story. Yep.
Yeah. Well, SEAL Team 6, they met their fate. The ones who, I believe they're the ones who captured Obama, or not Obama, Osama, and destroyed him. So what was that all about? I think that was coincidence. SEAL Team 6. I don't know. I don't think so.
And they all ended up getting off, right?
Yeah, in a helicopter. A missile hit him in a helicopter, and I heard somewhere that the helicopter that picked him up was a Vietnam era helicopter. It was really old. For some reason, they brought one of those over. I don't know. There's a lot of holes in the story. Something's not right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't. It's like, nah, you think you're fighting for your country, but it's a world-controlled government, probably. That's what we don't see.
No, it's true. It's true. It's very something under the scene. Spirit of Spicoli said, you ever notice that during 2008, 2009, movies like The Transformers and the movie Push came out in those years? They were based on advanced military technology or something. I remember Transformers. Let me look up Push. I don't know. Have you ever heard of Push?
No, I haven't heard about that. I'm not really much of a movie buff. I stopped watching a lot of movies.
2009. Push. I might have heard of it. Dakota Fanning, Chris Evans, Jaimin Hanzu, Camila Bell. So it's a thriller. It's saying, like a experiment. So it's a division to track various countries have a division that categorize experiment on people with psychic abilities. Okay, so Push dealing with the psychic. And
that's real life because they had the CIA had Operation Stargate or Project Stargate, where they dealt with remote viewing and psychics. So that's absolutely, it did happen. Yeah.
And it's like to turn them into, to turn them into weapons, I think, for the military, creating super soldiers. Yeah, it's kind of deep. I got to check it. Yeah, I didn't know about that one, man. Alexis, brother, thank you for the support, man. Alexis says, remember SEAL Team 6, guy who said on a podcast when he said Bin Laden's body, he looked nothing like him. I feel like they shipped him off to an island. Yeah, man. In my opinion, I really think that the government is not telling the truth on anything. It's like this especially. I mean, I think all of those guys got offed. I got to check that up. Did the SEAL? So the SEALs who basically ended
Team 6.
SEAL Team 6 who ended Osama Did they die? So, I asked that question, but now magically the AI don't pop up.
Really?
Let me see if I put a question on it. Yep, still on.
Doesn't want to touch that one.
It's so selective, man. It's really messed up, man. This is like, holy smokes. They are clearly all right, what happened maybe?
Yeah.
What happened to the SEAL team? All right, maybe I should take the number 6 out. Bang, that did it. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
So it's saying military officials confirmed none of the SEALs that ended in that crash were on the Bin Laden mission itself. So now they're trying to say that, and see how slick that is to say that none of the SEALs that ended in that crash. So acting like they didn't even get ended. It's like, no. So those guys that did get ended in that crash, they could have said, oh, they didn't have nothing to do with Bin Laden, but they said it in a way. SEALs ended in that crash were on none of the SEALs that got ended in that crash were on the Bin Laden mission itself. So people
they changed the story. They changed the story.
It's really, I mean, with the internet, man, the fact that they can change stuff so easy. I mean, who knows what the truth is on that? I mean, one of them saying that it didn't even look like him too. Yeah, that they could have shipped him off. They could have, Alexis. Yeah, they definitely, something is very, very off about it. Yeah, I'm thinking, especially looking at that. Yeah, it seems
Were they
like,
even after Bin Laden? It was just a big hoax to begin with.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing seems like a complete joke.
uh-huh.
This whole man
Yeah.
in a beard in a cave is
Oh,
their
yeah,
number one
yeah.
threat. It just seems like
Yeah.
a comical, just a
Oh, yeah.
cartoon.
Yeah, the guy in the cave and the threat. Yeah, that alone is just like very suspicious, like made up.
Yeah.
They
We have the
are.
most sophisticated, advanced military in the world, but it's a guy in a cave with a beard. Give me a break. They're insulting our intelligence again.
Yeah. Yeah, just when I think about what's going on, it's on another level of just straight. The corruption is everywhere. The corruption is everywhere. The whole thing with that is just like, I mean, like you were saying too, it's like a story. It's a whole story.
Yeah. I mean, just like you pointed out earlier with 9/11, how'd they find the hijackers? Oh, they found the passport. Whole plane disappeared, but they've got the passport.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, they insult our intelligence. They really do. They think we're stupid. And to be honest with you, the majority of the cases, they're right. The zombie apocalypse is real. Most
Oh,
people
yeah.
would say, "Oh, yeah, that's how they found him." Oh, what a good. We were lucky to get that passport. Okay.
You got people that probably will say, I heard they found a passport and not even think it's suspicious. Like, yeah, they actually found it.
Amongst all the rubble. It was in good condition too, by the way.
They will believe that. And that's the danger. The fact that they will believe that, to say, wait a second, you believe they found a passport? Even the newscaster said, if you believe that, it's crazy.
And yeah, he's written off a prompter. He's like, come on, man. I gotta read this. Yeah. I mean, look, they played golf on the moon. So all you need to know.
Yeah, the zombies don't care, man. Yep.
No.
Yeah, the zombies do not care, man. They just, the fact that the epidemic of stupidity, is everywhere. Yeah, they don't think, we are. Yeah, exactly. We are, bro. That is real. The whole, I think about that, man. The whole way that they control people through the mind. It's frightening in a way.
Yeah, it is. That's why it's also good that we have streams like this, because it'll teach people, be careful when you talk to the zombie. Like, they start bringing up some type of politics, don't engage,
Yeah.
because you say the wrong thing, you'll unleash that's a real inner zombie that'll just explode. So you're better off not engaging with them.
Yeah. Yeah. They will have an eruption.
Hmm.
Well, Agent Smith syndrome, basically. Agent Smith will come out of them
Hmm.
just the way they come out of the people in the Matrix. And that's, you talk about a certain subject, bang, Agent Smith coming out of them.
Good way to put it. Excellent way to put it.
Yeah. Yeah. That it's a real occurrence that all you got to do is hit the right trigger word. And one of my friends, his girl is straight zombie for the jab.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
it's like I told him, I said, look, man, it's dangerous. I said, you're gonna have to go chameleon. I said, the fact that, okay, she's cool with you not having it, but she's dangerous because she's not a person that got it and says, okay, she makes an excuse for why she got it, or at least, okay, she had to get it because of whatever employment, but knows that, yeah, you shouldn't be forced to do that. You have that type of person, which she's not. She's the type that's basically like, oh, people should, if they don't want to get it, they should have to get it, basically. So in other words, saying they should be forced. And he is still, because the dating market, I guess, it's brutal that he's still with her. And I told him, I said, that's very dangerous. I said that she said that. And I said, you don't want to bring up too much stuff about that topic, because he's very outspoken on a lot of stuff. And I told him, I said, if you're going to be around him, I said, you can't, I said, it's a form of mental illness that you can't be quiet in some places. I said, you have to be careful. I said, people don't want to hear you talking about that online or something like that at a store. If you're waiting for something,
Yes.
don't try to do that to get their attention. Like people wear these T-shirts and stuff like that. They're like a walking advertisement.
Hmm.
And it to me, it expresses mental illness. It expresses a mental illness from the person just saying, they want to talk about something. Alexis says, the Matrix isn't a system, Neo. It's reality. Morpheus on the Matrix. Yes. It is reality. Exactly, bro. It is so true. It is so true. The Matrix isn't a system. It is reality. It is, man. We are in something that is so amazing. And the fact that you look at it and you see the supernatural aspect to it, and they try to shame people for seeing that. That's basically the evolution zombie. We'll say, oh, you're a creationist. It's like, wait a minute, you're a creationist too. Everybody has a theory of how it was created. Right. You just think it created, randomly, which makes no sense, because when you look at stuff, it's like, look, it would still be happening randomly. And then they moved the goalpost saying, oh no, well, it's already been created. I'm like, really? So knew when to stop or something. I mean, yeah, those guys, I just there's not much to really say, because we already know where they're at.
And I fully support science that can be tested and repeated in a lab. I'm all behind it. Bring it on. I'm fully in support of that. But not when they won't call it pseudoscience, but that's what it is. If you can't test it and repeat it in a lab, don't tell me it's science. It's your belief.
Yeah.
And I accept the fact that my beliefs are supernatural.
Yeah.
I don't claim that my belief system has anything to do with is scientific in any way, shape, or form, because it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's like the search for truth is they say sometimes can be a lonely search, but it's worth it. I mean, searching for truth. Yeah, we're all on that journey to see, to know, to learn, and it's on that way. There's so many things that we have all seen that will try to distract you. Yes. And when we look at these other people, the sports zombie and these other zombies getting distracted, it's like, wow. It's like that is and how it begins in the family. It begins when we're young. The zombies are they're everywhere. It's like it has me thinking like, man, not the quick 28 days later zombies that chase you, but more like the Dawn of the Dead, the slow, methodical, like, oh man, they're everywhere you go. It's like, holy smokes, another zombie. And it's something you have to be careful of too, because we have to understand that the majority of people are going to be zombified. And even if they don't look zombified, it's like, wow, this person might be it's like, let me just interact with this person in the way that I need to interact with them, quick, easy. It's like, okay, if you're buying something from a store and whatever it is, at a place that you're maybe it's a building that you're going to just, like a museum or something, interacting with people. Yeah, like I remember when I would go to the museum, it's like you can't say too much from people because they'll look at an artifact and read what it says, and that's it. They'll believe it. They believe it.
Yes.
Yeah. There's no questioning. The Walking Dead. Yeah, the Walking Dead zombies, man. They're on autopilot, floating through society constantly, just searching, looking for anybody who thinks differently, and to either try to, it's funny, like they'll try to eat the thoughts out of their head, but when they encounter like the political zombies, when the two different campaigns or zombie virus, when they start to notice each other, and then you see like the battle ensue. We see it on a lot of these videos, and it's hilarious because you look at two people that are zombified over which person that they don't know, and the person, of course, doesn't know them. The person that they're campaigning for, like why they're going to make such a big change that it requires all these people to go on like this cult-like behavior, which we see every time with the political zombies on both sides. The fact that people were buying hats and wearing hats, everybody was like, hey, you know what? Get this red hat. And the craziest thing, we do anagrams here, we go words. Red hat. You can take those letters and spell the word hatred with the word red hat. So you put hat in front of the word red, it spells hatred.
Wow. Yeah, very divisive. I mean, think about people who've ended relationships because of the presidential election. Not to mention the people who've gotten into physical altercations about it, all over nothing.
Yeah. Well, I think about that. It's like, look at the way red hat can spell hatred, and people wearing the red hat, we started seeing the behavior, and it's like they fell into the illusion. He says, they have him on video saying, oh, take the magic potion now. So he went pro magic potion because the first time he played around and they said, okay, you want to play around? And that's when they put Biden in. And then it was like, okay, you're going to listen? All right, we'll put you back in. And now we see what he's doing. He's straight. It's messed up now what he's doing. Yeah, I mean, it's like, to even think that he wouldn't do that is me falling back into zombie. It's to say,
Exactly.
why wouldn't I think he would do that? It doesn't. It goes within order of it. It's like, don't think he's going to do anything good. If he does something good, let it surprise you instead of expecting it, and then you realize again, all of this stuff is straight based on corruption.
Yeah. But my issue isn't them. It's with the people that cheer, like you said, who buy the hats, who go mental. That should not be the case when you're electing a public official.
Yep.
That's what you're electing, I mean, the day we can elect somebody who's boring and not exciting is the day maybe I'll give it a little bit of hope. But other than that, I'm not giving it any hope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm really
yeah.
not. You
It's
know,
crazy, man. Alexis says, was JFK playing too many games, so they had to off him, or was he just a part of the plan? Honestly, I think it was part of the plan. I think he was part of the plan. I think, again, it's like you look at that, and it is very odd. It is very odd. I think JFK, yeah, definitely. It could be even a combination, like playing around.
could
He's,
be.
part of the plan. I mean, um, definitely there was some foul play with the guy who they say did it, and then he gets offed. I'm like, this is crazy. And then the guy who offed him, I think, got offed.
Yeah, he did. He did. He
Right?
got shot in front of on live TV when he was coming out of the courthouse or the jail. He got shot on live TV. Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. They said he shot Lee Harvey Oswald, the one that was accused, the assassin, right? And
Well,
then
Lee Harvey got shot on live TV, I believe.
he was convicted. Ruby
Jack
said
Ruby.
he
That's it.
acted out of grief, but and Ruby was a convicted murderer. All right, he was convicted of murder and sentenced to death, but it was overturned. That's the crazy thing.
Look at
Holy
that. They're
smokes.
telling you that it was just all
Wow. And
nonsense.
then
Yeah.
he holy smokes. A few years later he passed too, like 4 years, I think.
Mhm.
5 years after. Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's like when you look at that alone, it's just like, come on, man. It's like you really believe that stuff happened. It's like it's something so fishy. Yeah, Alexis, I think it was part of a plan or the plan. Yeah, basically. But also he might have been playing around. They're like, all right, we're gonna have to plan you out, man.
He was against the Vietnam War, which I don't think they liked. They didn't want that.
Yeah, but when I think about it, they're gonna do anything. Doesn't matter what we like. The fact that we think that we're doing something to make them change their mind, when in reality it seems like they changed their mind when they ready to.
Right.
We didn't make them do anything. It's like, I look at that like, wow, that is so underestimated to see that. It's like people when we had the other channel and all of that and smashed and everything, and it was as if people thought that they were doing something, but meanwhile I'm just living in their head without even knowing I'm living in their head, and they're thinking like, this guy is thinking about me, or I got this guy, because I made a commentary about him, like, because they would talk about me and all of that, and it's like,
Right.
great, but I didn't even know. I remember I didn't know about the prunes video until like months later. It was like almost in spring. I think it was in spring, and they did that on like Christmas Eve, and I'm like, holy smokes! To spend Christmas Eve burning my books is just hilarious in a way. It really is. It really makes me wonder. It's just like these guys are, the
And why would
effect.
you be so angry? I mean, for what? Don't you have anything better to do in your time? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It's like,
yeah,
what the heck is
yeah,
this?
yeah. I think it
You know?
really, really had people like. I mean, again, it's like when people do things or say things, I got to remember. Okay, I'm walking by a fence, and on the other side is the asylum, and they're
Hmm.
saying stuff from inside of the asylum. So it's like they're screaming out of a window of an asylum. So no matter what they say to me, doesn't matter.
Of
And
course.
that's, if we look at it like that, to not let somebody, I think they had a book, The Four Agreements. It's like, always do your best, don't take anything personal, don't
Hmm.
assume anything. It's so real. It's like, be true to
And
yourself.
I think that a lot of it was projecting, like they feel bad about their failures. You know what I mean? I think that's what it all comes down to because, Tony Pruno, he wanted he was part of that Dreams of Johnson
Hmm.
routine and that failed miserably. So
Yeah.
they have nothing left. You know what I mean? It's like
Well,
they have nothing going on in their
the
lives.
grift,
Yeah.
the grift, the grift will eat the person alive. I'm surprised
Yeah.
some of the other grifts are still out there, like, you know, Tomasi and Cooper and them. But eventually people, people see you got it. It's so much easier just to be honest. Just to be honest and do good stuff. It's
Hmm.
it's natural, really. It makes me feel good just to be like, hey, you know what? Let's have a conversation, talk about existence. All of these guys want to do is debate and beat each other. Oh, they did this. And it's like, so nobody learns.
No.
Nobody learns at that point. And this is about learning, man. It was fun. Yeah, I really appreciate it, man. I'm a little tired. It's like a little after 12. I
It's all
figured I'd
good.
stream early, but yeah, we'll stream again. You know, I'll stream tomorrow night. Every night,
Sounds
as long
good.
as I can, man. Every night.
Hey, salute, man. I
Yeah, man.
appreciate it.
Thanks, man. You take care. Everybody in the chat, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And have a great night. I'll do it again Sunday night. Take care.
A good night.